All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast. I'm Ned Ghost Rider. Most people call me Ghost. Welcome in, everybody. How's everybody doing on this Sunday, June 1st, 2025? It is Pride Month, and I am officially a foe. I am a foe. I'm a foe of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm not an ally. I'm a foe. Did the package arrive? No. I will defend queer rights, but I will also address queer wrongs. We advocate for queer rights as well as queer wrongs. And access power of the LGBTQ plus community. That doesn't make you a foe. I am the biggest foe. I'm a bigger foe than Hassan. I'm such a foe, they call me phony. I'm making Big ZD, though. Foe, or foe? That's for you to figure it out. That's for you to figure out. Yeah, so I played baseball today. It was pretty awesome. I had a scrimmage for my baseball team. I played really well. The shoulder didn't hurt. I'm pumped. The shoulder did not hurt. Shoulder did not hurt as long as I threw with good technique. It was fine. I had a couple throws that hurt because they were bad technique. But the shoulder is mostly good. It hurts a little bit right now, though. I'll probably ice it while I'm on stream. So I'll look like a hunchback. Or I'll look like a hunchback. But I'm currently making dinner right now. I got Big ZD in the oven. I don't really know what I want to do today. I mean, we can continue. We can continue. We can continue what we were playing yesterday. Or we could do React content. I kind of want to do React content. I know it says Sunday Fun Day. Actually, fuck it. Let's do React content. We finished the Humongous game, so we got this video that I was holding off. To do until after I finish the games. So that'll be fun. We also have... we could watch Boy going to North Korea to get a haircut. That's a fun video. I think I did a thing. Just did one too.
North.
Let's see. I got other videos in here too. And I got a list from SCow. Stone Cold, thank you for the follow. Putin versus Bashar al-Assad. That's an interesting first message to come in here on. What am I supposed to do with that? What do you mean versus? Isn't Putin Saddam Hussein versus Abu Muhammad al-Golani? What's the point, Stone Cold? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm giving you a chance. What's your point? Isn't Putin sheltering Bashar al-Assad? It's a tournament. What tournament? What are you talking about? Semifinal? What? What? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know? Obviously not. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking you a question. Fill me in. Educate us, Stone Cold. Please, educate us. Idi Amin and Mugabe. All right. I need to get my big ziti out of the oven. It's probably not done yet, but I'm going to check it. Everybody knows about this tournament. Well, apparently I'm not everybody, Stone Cold. If you're going to keep being vague, we're just going to ban you because you're just derailing the stream. Barney versus Count Chocula. Search it. I can't tell. Yeah, no. I'm giving you one more chance, Stone Cold. What did I walk in on? I don't know. Some new chatter came in asking me random questions about random matchups for some tournament. Expecting that it's Ghost after all. Yeah, I am kind of a weirdo. Do you love Palestine? Yes, I do love Palestine. Free Palestine. You weirdo, you're weirdo. But you're our weirdo. Thanks, I appreciate it. Okay. I don't... Where are you going with this, Stone Cold? Can you stop derailing the stream? I'm from Palestine? Okay. Ghost isn't the most normal one here. Anyway, my ziti's done. So, I need to let it sit for a few minutes because it's a little hot. And it's time to do React content. First video we're going to do is a tragedy of Humongous Entertainment. Not even remotely true, Plank? I don't know. I'm not queer like some of y'all. I'm not normal, so... Shit. Anyway, here's the link to the video that we're about to watch. Please watch alongside of it. Please watch alongside of it. We are going to do this and this. Here and here. All right. Here we go, chat. The tragedy of Humongous Entertainment. For those that are unaware, the children's games that I've been playing the last few weeks have been Humongous Entertainment and point-and-click games. This video talks about it. I think it would be interesting to play the games and then watch this video. Being straight isn't normal. It's just being straight. Hope that helps. That's true. That's true. I was trying to make a joke that I'm a LGBTQ foe, Becca. It's a gross image. I feel like you'd agree that this is a gross image. This is a delicious image.
Home computers for much of their infancy were a very restrictive thing. Between the expertise required to
As if you
operate
ally.
them and
Whoa!
the general pricing issues,
I'm a
up
foe.
until the late 80s at least, home PCs were somewhat niche. For example, at the time of its release, the Commodore 64 cost the equivalent of nearly $2,000 in 2024.
Damn.
And with how quickly the technological arms race was moving at the time,
All
there
right,
was
I'm gonna
no
get food chat.
guarantee that it was going to be competitive technology for very long. It wasn't until the early to mid-90s when standardization of operating systems and several manufacturers attempting to race to the bottom meant that even low-income families could own a PC. And it was at that point when they started to become as common as water. Hell, my family got their first home PC as a promotion for buying a fridge, I think. But with that said, PC gaming was still as restrictive as it had always been. Sure, you could run word processing programs and basic other programs on bottom-end PCs just fine, but at least on the cutting edge, system requirements to run the latest and greatest games simply weren't available to most casual audiences. Most people who played on the absolute most cutting edge tech were often enthusiasts, and more to the point, were adults with jobs who could afford these things. But that meant that there was a gap in the market where you had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of children with mid-range family PCs who might have been interested in playing games on their PC, but would only be able to run modestly demanding games. And one of the companies that decided to make that gap in the market their niche was Humongous Entertainment. Humongous Entertainment was formed in 1992 by Shelley Day, the business mind, and Ron Gilbert, the creative mind, both of whom are former LucasArts employees. As a matter of fact, the name Humongous Entertainment was suggested by another LucasArts employee, Tim Schafer, most famous nowadays for founding Double Fine. Thanks, Wikipedia. Now, I'm not too familiar with Shelley Day other than the fact that she was apparently convicted of fraud in 2005, but I'm familiar with Ron Gilbert, who was one of the creative spearheads of LucasArts, writing and directing such games as Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, and The Secret of Monkey Island. Games that were pretty big deals for their time, and more to the point, were showcases of boundless creativity in writing and puzzle design. So Humongous Entertainment had a really solid pedigree right from the moment the company was founded, and in particular, a solid pedigree in the realms of point-and-click adventure games. And they would go on to establish their brand of junior adventure games, point-and-click adventure games, which by the name you could probably tell were specifically...
Chat. Check it out. Check it. Big ziti and garlic bread. Yeah. That's right. Anyway. I'm the same age as that company. Damn. That's the wrong one. There we go. Mail me that right now. I don't think that's how that works. Whippersnapper. He said Day of the Tentacle and featured Maniac Mansion. Oh shit. Shit. The plate was sitting on the plate was sitting on the arrows.
Games on their PC, but would only be able...
Oh, it's not? Is that not how it works, goes? Yes, nicely. Keko, no, I didn't get the package. I'm pretty sure it still is stuck. Hold on. Let me track it. Let me track it. Let me track it. Let me track it. Oh, I did oil my glove last night. And I probably need to re-oil it. Mm-hmm. Dude, Google, go home, you're drunk. Keko, it's in transit. What does oiling the glove do? It softens the leather. If not, the leather gets dry and crackly. I mean, I could oil my glove while I'm doing React content today if you want. Oh, Plank also sent something that I want to show you all. And it's hilarious. I shared it in the Discord. So, Patty McCory defeats an Israeli opponent and shouts "Free Palestine" while he's beating the living shit out of him. It's amazing. The Israeli guy was the IDF guy who helped kill people. Yeah, isn't that what IDF people do? But yeah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Free Palestine. Ireland forever. Reunification of Ireland as soon as possible. Also, I think the guy's from Northern Ireland.
Able to run modestly demanding games, and one of the companies that decided to make that gap in the market their niche was Humongous Entertainment. Humongous Entertainment was formed in 1992 by Shelley Day, the business mind, and Ron Gilbert, the creative mind, both of whom are former LucasArts employees. As a matter of fact, the name Humongous Entertainment was suggested by another LucasArts employee, Tim Schafer, most famous nowadays for founding Double.
Irish people are so based, 100%. Ireland always on top, baby. Ireland always on the right side of history.
Fine. Thanks, Wikipedia. Now, I'm not too familiar with Shelley Day other than the fact that she was apparently convicted of fraud in 2005, but I'm familiar with Ron Gilbert, who was one of the creative spearheads of LucasArts, writing and directing such games as Maniac Mansion, Day of the Tentacle, and The Secret of Monkey Island.
Irish Americans, however? What are you implying, Becca? You know Irish Americans sent weapons to the IRA during the Troubles, right? Oh, you did say Maniac a Mansion?
Island. Games that were pretty big deals for their time, and more to the point, were showcases of boundless creativity in writing and puzzle design. So Humongous Entertainment had a really solid pedigree right from the moment the company was founded, and in particular, a solid pedigree in the realms of point-and-click adventure games. And they would go on to establish their brand of junior adventure games, point-and-click adventure games, which...
I say that as I go to an Irish bar every Tuesday. Sussy people there. Well, you keep going and there's sussy people there, Becca. Day of the Tentacle is one of my favorite games of all time. Oh, nice.
By the name, you could probably tell were specifically aimed at kids. Of course, because it was aimed at kids, that meant they had to drastically simplify the concept of a point-and-click adventure game, which were known as one of the most frustratingly obtuse genres of game. That was mostly on Sierra and their habit of killing you if you walk 2 feet in the wrong direction, giving you points of no return where you could theoretically screw yourself out of beating the game, and of course having batshit insane logic. But even still, even the LucasArts standard wouldn't cut it. The spitting contest, for example, these had to be simple enough that even the youngest kids could bumble through them. With that said, it didn't mean that they couldn't showcase the creativity.
Or 33-year-old adults who then had to Google it because they couldn't get through it. I don't talk to those folks. Let me tell you, the host was celebrating after Election Day. I can't stand her. Oh. Well, that sucks.
Or imagination that the people behind the company were known for. Notably, every game in the catalog used the SCUM engine, which stood for Script Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion, a lame meaning for a cool acronym. It's a unique game engine programmed by Ron Gilbert back when he was working for LucasArts, and even though LucasArts owned it on account of him developing it when he was working for them, they let him use it so long as he kept updating the engine for both companies. As far as I'm aware, they used it roughly until the company went defunct. Humongous Entertainment's first intellectual property was putt-putt. It's not something that I ever played growing up, but I was aware of it from demos and such. This was originally a bedtime story that Shelley Day came up with for her son about an anthropomorphic car and its non-anthropomorphic dog.
I was glad to help.
It's noted that while Shelley Day was the business mind of the team, handling all the admin while Ron Gilbert did most of the creative work, Shelley Day was involved on the creative end at points. This in particular was her biggest creative endeavor. Putt-putt is their most prolific franchise, and probably the one they're most well known for, if nothing else than because of sheer volume. Which is ironic, given that both Shelley Day and...
Also, there were always putt-putt games on all the software stands and everything growing up. What's going on with that old guy's hat? Wait, what old guy? This hat? The Aussie hat? This is an Australian character. Oh, this guy's hat? Yeah, that's... I don't know about that one.
for, if nothing else than because of sheer volume.
Yeah, I don't know about that, dude.
Ironic, given that both Shelley Day and Ron Gilbert came from LucasArts, a company known for quality over quantity, unlike Sierra, which was known for quantity over quality. Either way, Putt-Putt has no less than 7 main series entries, and a few spin-offs. Thankfully, the naming convention of Putt-Putt makes it so the games are fairly self-explanatory. You had Putt-Putt Joins the Parade in 1992, Putt-Putt Goes to the Moon in 1993, Putt-Putt Saves the Zoo in 1995, Putt-Putt Travels Through Time in 1997, Putt-Putt Enters the Race in 1999, Putt-Putt Joins the Circus in 2000, and Pep's Birthday Surprise in 2003. The only one to eschew the naming convention, but that game eschews a lot of things.
We skipped the birthday surprise because it was giving me the same problem as Pajama Sam 4, and I wasn't having it. I wasn't dealing with it. But Freddy Fish 5 was good.
This is a series that basically lives on the premise of anthropomorphic car goes on various adventures, which range from the mundane to the fantastical. And it definitely brings across that feeling of being like a children's pop-up book, where one day you're doing something as simple as going to a parade, which is something that kids enjoy, and the next you're going to the moon or traveling through time, things that kids are also interested in. I kinda wish they would have doubled down on this, if I'm being honest. Have the opening of every game be like opening a children's pop-up storybook. When I first played the first 2 games in the series, I assumed they were using an earlier version of the Scum engine, and as such had a different resolution, which resulted in a different art style. But after doing a bit of research, I found that it's merely the fact that the first 2 games used traditional sprite-based graphics, like the games they worked on at LucasArts. The same applies, I believe, exclusively to another one of the early games that they made, Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise.
That's interesting. That's interesting, because we did talk about how the graphics were brutal on that first Putt-Putt game. I believe I also have this game. in that bundle that I bought.
There's a lot of work to do before Kayla wakes up. I want to make her a big, beautiful birthday cake.
Which is, as far as I'm aware, the only original property to never take off in the same way as the others. To the point where Fatty Bear was actually paired up with Putt-Putt in some spin-offs. Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise was a very mundane and sleepy Calvin and Hobbes style adventure where a little girl's stuffed bear comes to life on the eve of her birthday, so he decides to make it special by preparing a birthday party for her, and as a matter of fact, this game has a connection to Putt-Putt in that it's one of only 2 games that lets you decorate a cake however you wish, the other being Pep's Birthday Surprise. Otherwise, it's definitely the most lackadaisical,
Chat, did you see
the
that?
other being Putt-Putt in that it's one of only 2 games that lets you decorate a cake
Last of Us Part 2 is a masterpiece? Yeah.
however you wish. The other being Pep's Birthday Surprise.
Bush did 9/11? Oh my god, that's great.
City plus America. New York plus Bush.
We have a perfect clip for it.
9/11! I got 9/11! I got 9/11! I got 9/11! We did 9/11! We did 9/11! No! Don't clip that! Don't clip that! Do not clip that!
Wait, was he even the
Do not
context?
clip that!
The game allowed you to decorate the cake in any way that you wanted. So,
By preparing a birthday party life on the eve of her birthday, so he decides to make it special by preparing a birthday party for her, and as a matter of fact, this game has a connection to Putt-Putt in that it's one of only 2 games that lets you decorate a cake however you wish, the other being Pep's Birthday Surprise. Otherwise, it's
Bush did 9/11. I'm kind of glad that we didn't do that, because y'all would have been unhinged.
Definitely the most lackadaisical and mundane game in their catalog, which would make sense why it would never really take off in the same way as the other franchises, given the fact that while there were some fantastical elements surrounding a Toy Story-esque idea of toys coming to life, which actually predated Toy Story. Either way, the initial art style makes Putt-Putt incredibly flat and also makes it so he has an incredibly creepy smile plastered on his face 24/7. But around 1995, they decided to do away with sprite-based artwork across their entire catalog in favor of hand-drawn, hand-animated scenes.
I'd been here for 16 months. No, they wouldn't have. Correct.
It looks crude in the sense that the animation is very simple, but it's also appealing and results in the entire Humongous catalog having a very distinctive art style that you can recognize from a mile away. The crudeness and simplicity conveys a feeling that their entire catalog was made by children and not necessarily just for them. But even without the art style, the entire concept came out of the womb pretty much fully formed. One of the trademarks of Humongous Entertainment games is the ability to click on pretty much anything in the background and have something happen, even if it's completely unrelated to the game itself. The reason is obvious, because the junior adventure concept is aimed at kids 3 to 8. So you want to have a lot of interactability in the game outside of the main path in order to give kids something visual to enjoy, which will keep the youngins engaged, like one of those spinny things you put over a crib. Because if you keep things on the main path, most of these games are less than an hour. Matter of fact, the first game, Putt-Putt Joins the Parade, is about 20 minutes if you know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and it still took me less than a half hour. In this case, all you need to
yeah, it definitely took more than an hour. Yeah. What does that say about me? Also, the art style is distinct, and I do love the art style, particularly on the later games. Once they got the graphics better, I absolutely love the art style, especially like the Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish.
do is tokenly do a few tasks to prepare yourself for the parade. Get a balloon, get a car wash, and get an animal. The animal in question is of course Pep, who doesn't actually start out the series as your companion. You actually find him alone and terrified in a cave and rescue him. That is precious. Otherwise, most of the game is about finding a way to get money together to give yourself a car wash, and how you do that is up to you. I ended up playing that horrible lawn mowing game to get all the money, and ended the game with money to spare to the point where I actually hadn't even delivered some of the groceries I was supposed to deliver for extra money. Also, this game has a mechanic that thankfully went away immediately after. It's not super intrusive, but it could have potentially been annoying. As you go through the game, your gas will gradually run out, and so occasionally you have to run to the gas station to get more gas, which is thankfully free, but it's just unnecessary busy work. Meanwhile, in the second game you go into space. Not since the Chizou mythos have I seen a game pull that gambit as quickly as that. Thankfully though, this game doesn't have anything nearly as fucking terrible as I just wanted to go into space. In this case, you accidentally have yourself fired into space when you're visiting the fireworks factory. Thankfully, Poochie's not around to ruin that. The rest of the game is spent trying to get back with the help of a lunar moon buggy. The most notable thing about this game is that the puzzle to get the plot kicked off is not self-explanatory.
We finished putt-putt, now we're reacting to putt-putt? Yep. No, we're reacting to all of Humongous Entertainment. Oh, hi, Otto. Hi, Otto. Why do you have a different name? Are you new to the channel? Are you new to the channel? Did somebody report your name? Did they force you to change it again? Corporate rebrand for June?
Mandatory whatsoever. I kept making random fireworks combinations hoping that would do something. The solution is, you have to randomly bubble around until you find out that you have to click on the butterfly outside of the window, which will start a chain of events that will make you...
That's what I did! That's what I did!
...blast off like Team Rocket. Otherwise, this is a fairly straightforward game with a fairly straightforward progression. It's not usually totally obvious what you need to do with every item, but once you find every item, the use is usually fairly self-explanatory. The most clever puzzle in the game is having to use Pep to reach a puzzle item, but that's about as clever as it gets. The worst part is probably having to find Robbie Radar in this apartment building, which is apparently a swingers apartment building because he keeps going from place to place, like, immediately one after another. Or possibly having to get those 10 moon crystals to buy the rocket that will eventually be your ticket home, because you have to do this whack-a-mole game twice, at least. And it's a game that's so easy, it's almost mind-numbing. Following that, in Putt-Putt Saves the Zoo, a bunch of baby animals have escaped their enclosures and you have to go rescue them at the behest of the Australian zookeeper.
This is the art style. This is the art style I was talking about. When the graphics got like this, that's what I love.
Jackaroo, you're on!
Who is obviously a reference to Steve Irwin. Rest in peace. And the baby animals are absolutely adorable. My favorite is definitely the lion cub, but I'm very much a cat person, so I'm hardwired to think all felines are cute, even the ones that will literally murder you. As confirmed by the ending credits, all the baby animals are voiced by actual children, which does lend this game a level of authenticity that you don't often get.
Mama, baby Jumbo's coming home!
Matter of fact, for the first 4 main games, Putt-Putt himself is voiced by a boy named Jason Ellefson. I think that's how that's pronounced.
I'm glad everything turned out okay, Masai.
But I'm assuming he grew out of the role, or maybe Humongous Entertainment got too big for him, because by the 5th and 6th games, he's replaced by Nancy Cartwright, most famous for voicing Bart Simpson. This one's also fairly straightforward. The highlight of this game is probably the River Rapids portion, where you have to quickly guide yourself along in order to pick the correct path, and at one point, if you're too slow, you get a Freddy Fish cameo. Peep that. Aside from that, this is probably the easiest game out of the lot. I pretty much intuitively knew exactly what to do with.
I played this one the most and getting flashbacks. Yeah, I had only played demos of Putt-Putt. So this is really interesting. I took this game seriously and would get emotional when saving the baby animals. That's not shocking.
Every single item in the game from the moment I got them. I knew the cheese puffs were for the rats, I knew the hot cocoa was for the cold snake, I knew the toolbox was for the winch. Everything was easy to figure out, but despite being the easiest, it's still very charming. Following that is Putt-Putt Travels Through Time. So first we went to the moon, and now we're traveling through time. This is something I kind of appreciate about media like this. You don't have to have a consistent tone or presentation. You can just do wacky shit like this and nobody bats an eye. Meanwhile, in anything that's worth taking remotely seriously as a
I also played this one. Keko, were you around when I played these? Or did you miss my Putt-Putt playthroughs?
Piece, time travel is usually the point in which you have officially done a double somersault over a shark, mentioning no specific examples. In an odd bit of continuity, Mr. Firebird, the fireworks guy from the second game, is now experimenting with time travel and accidentally sends a bunch of Putt-Putt school supplies as well as Pep through time. This one's probably the one I find most annoying out of the entire series, but mostly because you have 4 different time periods that are each disconnected.
Putt-Putt throws a rock at an Israeli tank. That's a new one. That's a new one, Keko. I don't think I've seen that one.
So you have to keep coming back to the hub to travel through whatever time period you need to go to. And the travel time can be a bit arduous. It was to the point I found myself skipping the animations with the escape key pretty frequently. Other than that, this game is pretty straightforward as soon as you get down to it. There is one particular moment where I was briefly stumped, but only because I had the right idea but wrong execution. This train said he was thirsty, so I thought I had to get a bowl from the prehistoric era, fill it with water, and give it to him, but I actually had to use the rope on this pipe that really didn't stick out from the background all that much. Otherwise,
I nailed that one.
It's a perfectly fine series of item exchanges that won't give you
Sequel, Putt-Putt avoids laser-guided missile. Facts. Historical accuracy, Otto.
too much trouble if you're any good. The most notable thing I realized when playing this game is the fact that I'm far too cynical and jaded to play these games and view them at face value. Because they are definitely earnest, but I will admit that my mind does occasionally go into dirty places, such as this one dinosaur having a weirdly
Why do I feel like this content creator just called me out? Why do I feel like this content creator just called us out, chat? Putt-putt sets off fireworks inside himself outside Trump Hotel. Oh, Putt-putt's a Cybertruck now?
Really suggestive voice.
Ms. Brachiosaurus, and who or what in the primordial ooze are you?
Like, am I the only one? And then there's this other dinosaur that begs you to scratch an itch, and thereafter, when you request to walk over him to get to the perch behind him, he has the type of vigorous gusto that you don't often see outside of foot fetishists begging you to step on their face.
As far as I'm concerned, Putt-putt, you could drive on me all day and night. Be my guest.
I know, I'm terrible. Otherwise than
Okay, so I'm going to say that this person has a dirtier mind than me because I didn't react to those that way at all. I reacted to other shit like that. I didn't react to those instances like that. That ran right over my head as a child. Yes, you did. No, I reacted to the moaning and shit. I didn't react to the person enthusiastically saying you could ride on me all day. Or the Brachiosaurus suggestive voice.
than that, it's more the same. Then we get back into slightly more grounded territory with the 5th game, Putt-putt joins the race. This is where the aforementioned Nancy Cartwright takes over.
Extra high-powered, high-octane gasoline. Fill her up.
This one has a few interesting ideas, such as how it kind of goes back to the very first game in the sense that you have to collect money for mandatory and optional reasons. But you have a few different ways to do that.
Bro, we were saying he's a sub. Oh, did we? The diners are saying you could ride on me sounded like Alan Dershowitz. The train in the Wild West was way more egregious. Egregious? Yeah. That one was crazy. We oiled them up and then filled them up. That one was a little insane.
Also, continuing their weirdly consistent continuity, the moon buggy from the second game is back, working a milkshake stand. The only thing inconsistent about this series is the town layout, which is constantly changing. I guess when you're a sentient car, civic
I'm sorry. Does your town not change around all the time?
restructuring is probably going to be a common thing as you endeavor to make cities less walkable. Also, here's fun. Captain Australia, the zookeeper, is back.
Okay, I need to rehear that joke because it was good.
Consistent about this series is the town layout, which is constantly changing. I guess when you're a sentient car, civic restructuring is probably going to be a common thing as you endeavor to make cities less walkable. Also, here's fun. Captain Australia, the zookeeper, is back as one of the major item givers. He just had a lemur delivered and describes the thing as a little bugger.
Stayed home today to take care of the little bugger.
I know that's not a commonly used word in the Americas, but you guys are aware that bugger means bum sex, right? Either way, once again, perfectly straightforward.
What? Bugger means bum sex? I didn't know that. Car line infrastructure is walkable for them, their cars. That's true. That is facts. But a bugger means bum sex? I did not know that. In British English? Oh. Okay.
Nothing out of the ordinary for this particular series.
Yeah, to get buggered means that. Yeah, but what if it's consensual? See, buggered sounds like it's not consensual. Some people like butt stuff. But to knock you up means to call you on the phone. Oh, I was under the impression knock you up is get someone pregnant.
Until the end. I was more or less dreading the idea that they were going to make you actually play the race because it would have no doubt resulted in a terrible minigame. Random sequences of actual gameplay, usually referred to as arcade sequences, aren't anything uncommon when it comes to point-and-click adventure games, much less these games, because most of them have at least one minigame. They're very rarely anything more than mediocre, but at the very least, the more obnoxious ones are usually optional. This one is definitely no exception to the mediocrity rule, but it is indeed mandatory. You just drag your cursor back and forth to avoid obstacles and try
Hey, I won. Unlike Auto playing marbles on stream. I've never heard that. Putt-putt joins the race was originally about putt-putt going to prison and having to choose crew.
Past the really annoying race car that keeps deliberately driving in front of you. But once you get past that, this minigame is almost insultingly easy, so at the very least it's not as bad as it could have been. But I had really hoped they were gonna surprise me and not make me play it. Well, yeah, they didn't surprise me. Finally, we have Putt-Putt 6, Putt-Putt Joins the Circus. This is definitely the most elaborate out of all the games, because there are 5 parts to the circus you have to save, but in actuality, you have to help out more than double that amount of characters.
Yep.
The type of item exchanges you end up going through are far more multifaceted than previous games. You need to find 2 halves of a health shake recipe so you can then make the health shake, give it to this one strongman car so that he can lift this big weight. Then you take the instruction sheet that the weight was on top of and give it to this one car doing the cannonball act. Also, is it just me, or does that car look like Princess Daisy? Another example would be that sequence where you have to take this random umbrella that's laying on the ground to this random sentient unicycle so you can take their umbrella and use it as the new tent for this mini circus. But then you have to go through this multi-stage process of even getting to the sentient unicycle, and then you also have to find the fleas that occupy the mini circus. At which point you have to transport them to the new tent. So they were starting to get a little bit more complicated as they went along, which is something that I appreciate. This game also had another puzzle that briefly stumped me, but only because this game did a very naughty thing and had another mandatory arcade sequence. You see, you have to play this minigame at a peanut vendor to get a bag of peanuts, which you use to wake up a sleeping elephant. Problem being, I had just assumed the minigame was entirely—
That's a bad stereotype for elephants. Hi, Nomar, by the way. If I haven't said hi.
optional, because up to that point, most minigames were either optional or obviously not optional. And in this case, this one felt like an optional minigame, although funnily—
But you didn't listen to the character. If you would have listened to the character, you would have found out that you had to do it.
enough, that specific puzzle begets a cameo which continues the weird focus on continuity that this series has. Both the elephants that you interacted with in the third game are in this game, having joined the circus for the summer. I would say Putt-Putt Joins the Circus is probably the best in the series. But keep in mind, we're grading this on a massive curve on account of the fact that this is a series of games that are aimed at an incredibly young audience, and so as an adult, you really won't get much out of it from a brain teaser perspective or from a gameplay perspective, so you really—
Yeah, that game was definitely way too easy for me. I definitely didn't Google how to do things in this game at all.
really have to reconcile what these games are and how much enjoyment you'll get out of them before comparing them to other games. And in this case, I find Putt-Putt 6 to be the most enjoyable because it has the best production value, the most characters, the most puzzles, the most elaborate puzzles, and while it doesn't necessarily have the most charm, it's definitely up there. And charm really is the word here. I find Putt-Putt to be a very charming series of games with a lot of personality and liveliness. And it's so funny to me that this is a series about anthropomorphic cars that predates the Cars series by well over a decade. Putt-Putt was the most consistent through line that Humongous Entertainment had. It's the first series they produced, and as far as release dates, the final entry is in a tie with Pajama Sam 4 for being the final adventure game they released. I'll save the discussion of Putt-Putt 7 as well as Pajama Sam 4 for the ending portion where I go through the history of Humongous Entertainment's downfall. But either way, their next major franchise was Freddy Fish.
Freddy
I
Fish!
count Fatty Bear, but that really only had one major entry, so personally I don't. While the Putt-Putt series had somewhat of a fantastical dreamlike setup that took you from the streets all the way to the farthest stars and even through space-time, Freddy Fish was strangely more grounded, based around the titular Freddy and her friend Luther.
It says to find Grandma Grouper's treasure chest, go to the volcano. I'm gonna be rich when I find that treasure.
Yeah, fun fact I did not actually know until recently, Freddy is actually a girl. I mean, she does get addressed with female pronouns, but that only happens like twice in the entire series, and both in games I didn't have growing up. The Freddy Fish series—
Yep. That was my problem too. They used she, her pronouns in like Freddy Fish 3 and 4. No. 4 and 5? Yeah, 4 and 5. So I did not know that Freddy was a female character. I always loved how their mouth movements never match up to their words. Yeah, I didn't realize how bad it was. But I don't know if that's because of how old the game was. So the animations weren't quite in sync with like modern technology. Or if that's how it was when I was a kid too.
Series consists of Freddy Fish in the Case of the Missing Kelp Seeds in 1994,
This counts as anime?
Freddy Fish 2, The Case of the Haunted Schoolhouse in 1996, Freddy Fish 3, The Case of the Stolen Conch Shell in 1998, Freddy Fish 4, The Case of the Hogfish Rustlers of Briny Gulch in 1999, and I'm surprised I managed to remember that title without having to go back and double check, and finally Freddy Fish 5, The Case of the Creature of Coral Cove in 2001. The best way to
All right, chat. I'm going to get more food and I'm going to get water as well. But I'm going to keep it playing. But I'll be listening.
describe Freddy Fish to the uninitiated would be a series of detective games where we have to solve a mystery by finding clues and key items. Hence why every game is the case of something. Imagine Sherlock and Watson with a piscatorial twist, and also where Sherlock is a girl and Watson is a kleptomaniac. No, seriously, Luther's constantly trying to get rich by stealing stuff, and I find it really funny how that's a running theme in these games, despite the fact that the conflict in these games is supposed to convey simple morality lessons to kids.
How did I not notice that? How did I not notice that Luther was trying to steal shit all the time and trying to get rich?
And one of the things they keep coming back to is stealing. And yet our comedy relief sidekick character keeps getting himself in trouble doing just that. But I digress. I only ever played the first and third games in this series growing up, and more so the third game because the first game actually scared me at times. Something we kind of underestimate is how unsettling the depths of the ocean can be, and there are some screens in that game where you have vast expanses of eerie nothingness, chasms, caverns, and so on. I'm not sure what it was specifically about the imagery, but it did unsettle me. Meanwhile, the third game had a much more upbeat presentation and art style with more compact and busy screens with plenty to interact with. It felt like a much more lively game, whereas the first one felt somewhat dead, but in a way that's kind of cool in hindsight. The eeriness wasn't helped by the plot itself being based around trying to find Grandma Grouper's kelp seeds, without which all the fish will die. Something they're not shy about letting you know, so it's kind of dark when you think about it.
We need to find Grandma Grouper's treasure chest because that's where the kelp seeds are. If we don't find them soon, all the fish are going to die.
It's a pretty upbeat game other than that, even having a short musical number at one point, and also whatever the hell this is.
The super duper duper booka poppy gizmo.
You know what? Fair enough. But the existential aspect of the plot is surprisingly dark, so much so that they scaled the subject matter way the hell back for the next game, which was about setting up an elaborate trap to capture a thief who stole a bunch of toys belonging to the school of fish that Freddy and Luther go to. The first indication that they're school friends. Weirdly, both the first game and second game have the same villains, a couple of sharks working at the behest of an overseeing entity known as the Squid Father. His entire character is a reference to Marlon Brando's fantastic portrayal as Vito Corleone in The Godfather, kind of an unnecessarily cultured reference given the age group we're dealing with. But I'd imagine this was a reference made more for the developer's sake than anyone playing the game. Given that the second game had a much lighter tone than the first, but also starred the same villains and surrounded the idea of them stealing from our characters, one wonders if this was a deliberate attempt at a do-over of the first game after parents complained. I doubt it, but it makes you think. Either way, aside from the dark subject matter and occasionally eerie backgrounds, the first Freddy Fish is fairly straightforward as these things go. You basically have to go around solving a bunch of item puzzles and gathering clues.
Wow, you didn't? I pointed out a few times. Huh. Sorry, Ari. Yeah, so this Freddy Fish game was the one that I played my whole life growing up. And I loved it. Loved it growing up.
Until you're able to pinpoint the exact location of where Grandma's kelp seeds are hidden. And anytime you find a clue, they cut to the two sharks who stole them as they debate amongst themselves. This series more or less came out fully formed, much like Putt-Putt was, as far as how they're structured, and specifically how the game
Oh no, the
ends.
kelp
A
seeds
puzzle
one?
sequence largely disconnected from the rest of the game that acts as the climax once you figure out whatever the mystery is. In this case, you have a sequence of puzzles on a sunken ship. The only game that gets away from this is the second game, because in this case you have to go around a bunch of areas to find a bunch of machine parts from which you will build a giant trap. Because the trap is the climax of the story, there's no opportunity to have an extra sequence, meaning the game kind of just ends. Still, it's a perfectly fine game for what it is. I think I prefer the first, and indeed I prefer the third.
True.
The third game surrounds them trying to find the missing conch shell, which has been stolen, and Freddy's uncle Blenny has been blamed. So they need to find the conch shell and its 3 pieces and prove Blenny's innocence. What I like about this game is that on a
I completely forgot that that was the whole basis of the game, was to get Freddy's uncle off. Out of context, that sounds really bad.
count of there being multiple possible culprits, this game has a few different possible playthroughs with different item combinations and sequences. This is a recurring thing throughout the entire Humongous catalog, with different games having different potential playthroughs, incentivizing replayability, but this is probably the most...
Yep. And that's why those games are awesome. That's why Freddy Fish and Pajama Sam were the best, because you could just keep playing them and be a different game almost every single time. Also, I went to get water, and I completely forgot to get my water.
Most elaborate yet. Still, it always takes you to the same place once you have all 3 pipes for the conch shell. You'll be led to these random ancient ruins where you'll have to break Luther out of prison because the dude stole a gem he wasn't supposed to. After which, you get a clue which will allow you to finger the culprit. Not like that. I would say for sheer variety and creativity, Freddy Fish 3 is probably the best out of all of them, but this is also the one I played the most, so maybe I'm just a bit biased. I played it so much, in fact, that I can pretty distinctly remember all the background details,
did they say,
including this one music...
Did they say Freddy fingered somebody?
These random ancient ruins where you'll have to break Luther out of prison because the dude stole a gem he wasn't supposed to. After
Way to go,
which, you
Luther.
get a clue which will allow you to finger the culprit. Not like that. I would say for sheer variety and creativity, Freddy Fish 3 is probably the best out of all of them, but this is also the one I played the most, so maybe I'm just a bit biased. I played it so much, in fact, that I can pretty distinctly remember all the background details, including this one music box type thing that gives you different short musical numbers, and this one lives rent-free in my head.
Oh my god. Is that like the shark song? Is that like the baby shark sign? Kind of?
The fourth game, meanwhile...
Just like chatters hide from the top of the hour ad break, because the top of every hour run a 3-minute ad to avoid the pre-roll ads. For any new viewers, if you want to avoid the ads, you can pay $5.99 for a subscription or get lucky and get gifted a sub. Or you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free monthly subscription from Daddy Bezos to your favorite streamer. Hopefully it's me, or Keko, or Ari Boops. But if you don't have a subscription, you get stuck behind the 3-minute ad break that comes now.
While is comparatively forgettable, as off the top of my head I can't remember much about it. The fourth game concerns Freddy's cousin Calico Catfish, who is an undersea rancher having her hogfish rustled. So that's the investigation. You have to go investigate who did it and have to get her hogfish back.
We got a right to pick a little fight with rustlers. Somebody wants to pick a fight with us, he better bite my ass.
Yeehaw!
This one's definitely more of an investigative game, similar to the third game. You have to solve a bunch of puzzles to get a disguise so you can get into the rustlers' hangout. Then you have to gather context clues that will determine who you're gonna finger at the end of the game. Not like that. As much like the third game, one of the people you encounter is the bigwig behind the...
I did not pay attention to any of the clues. I was just clicking random people when I got to this point.
The whole operation, and you have to figure out yourself who did it. I even got it wrong at one point, but in my defense, this dude was a massive red herring.
Not like that.
Otherwise, it's fairly straightforward. Another case of everything falling into place once you have all the items and talk to all the characters. That belt buckle puzzle is probably the highlight for me. And I enjoy the investigative elements of games like this, although for some reason the game starts to glitch out towards the end. I'm not sure if it's hard-baked into the animation or if this is just a copy.
That's right. Because Freddy's face like disappeared a couple times when Freddy was talking. And then there was times where Freddy was talking, but Luther's mouth was moving. I noticed that. I don't know if I pointed that out or not.
But for some reason, the voice lines started to completely mess up. Luther started speaking with Freddy's voice lines, and at one point, the animation just died altogether while they were talking.
Well, that's no excuse. You all ought to be ashamed. You just shouldn't take things that don't belong to you.
Yep.
How does that even happen in a game
That
like
happens.
this? That's nothing but hand-drawn animation and voice lines. And the fifth game concerns this amusement park, Coral Cove, being shut down when it's invaded by a mysterious monster. And you have to get in and investigate said monster and find its whereabouts, but in actuality it turns out that said monster is the legal owner of the land, and the villain is a ruthless business owner and land developer trying to steal the land and—
Whoa. I just realized that's like the plot line of that game is like Israel and Palestine, where the sea monster is Palestine, and a ruthless businessman is the Zionist leaders. It could easily make this game a horror game akin to Doki Doki Literature Club. But I was getting very close to an anti-Semitic trope there. And you noticed I stayed away from it.
and profit off of it, which is about as on the nose as anti-capitalist messages get.
Boom.
Which leads to
Nailed it.
probably the most elaborate ending sequence of all these games. It takes up something like a third of the game, and
Oh,
is
gotcha,
entirely
yeah.
about you.
I expertly avoided it. Oh, there's some skin there, chat. You're seeing my shoulder. Only 173 more subs, and you get the full skin.
Trying to break into this guy's mansion, get to his wall safe, and retrieve the deed so you can return it to its rightful owner. This is easily the best part of the game, which is not to say the rest of it is bad. It's more or less just standard fare. Matter of fact, there's an extended chunk in the beginning of the game where you're trying to solve puzzles just to get into Coral Cove, which takes up, I believe, about a third of the game, meaning the actual investigation is only a third of the game as well.
Yeah, but I felt like that was most of the game, to be honest with you. But I'm also a 33-year-old man that is dumb. Is this Fortnite we paying for skins now?
Maybe slightly more than that, but that was my experience with the game. One thing you'll notice when playing these games is that they generally all look the same, which can be lauded for its consistency, but it's interesting that while the industry was developing around it, this series and indeed the entire catalog stay pretty much the same. With that said, however, they do occasionally try new things, and in this game, the thing that stuck out to me the most is this one area with a scrolling background. Now that's definitely the type of stuff you pull out for the final installment, although granted, from what I understand, this wasn't supposed to be the final installment. Either way, I will admit I am slightly biased in this take, but I do like Freddy Fish more than I like Putt-Putt. It has a more consistent identity, and also the subject matter is unique in itself, so you don't need to resort to crazy subject matter just to have cool backgrounds, interesting theming, and fun subject matter. Plus, I find the Holmes and Watson relationship between Freddy and Luther very endearing. Then the general investigative elements means that the games are slightly more elaborate than a series of item exchanges until you win. The thing about Putt-Putt especially is that because you're usually getting to a specific goal by fixing a problem, the game sort of just abruptly ends as soon as you fix the problem. Whereas by having an investigation—
That is true. That was a very valid point.
and final payoff, you have more of a deliberate structuring that makes the payoff feel earned. But no shade, that's just my opinion. I find both of these franchises to be good for what they are in their own right. Following this, their third major pillar franchise in the Junior Adventure series was Pajama Sam, and Pajama Sam was my jam. This was
That's
the
right,
series that I
Pajama
played
Sam,
the
baby.
most by far out of all these different Junior Adventure franchises growing up. This series consists of Pajama Sam, No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside from 19—
I'm not gonna lie, I played Pajama Sam a shit ton as a kid. But like playing as an adult, dude, the Spy Fox games were awesome. I hate that there was only 3 of them. That's Suji. That was Suji's favorite. Shout out Suji. Chat, go check out Suji.
I gotta put my mental state aside for the company.
For the
You do
company.
it.
For the company.
For the
For the company. The company.
No.
They're going to die. They're jumping. Yay!
The whole crew.
1996, Pajama Sam 2, Thunder and Lightning Aren't So Frightening in 1998, Pajama Sam 3, You Are What You Eat From Your Head to Your Feet in 2000, and Pajama Sam 4, Life is Rough When You Lose Your Stuff in 2003. This is a series of games that really feels like it's coming directly from the imagination of a child, where you get the sense that every single one of them is an adventure within a child's mind to try and use their limited understanding of the world to try and make sense of something they don't understand. Overcoming a fear of the dark, overcoming a fear of thunderstorms, and the importance of having a balanced diet. This is something I remember doing as a kid. If there was something I didn't understand, I would use my own understanding of how the world worked to spackle over the gaps. Completely random example. When I was super...
Wait, that's literally what adults do with conspiracy theories. What the fuck? Wait. Are we saying those who fill in how the world works with conspiracy theories are child-brained? Yeah, that's what we're saying.
young, I remember hearing that mustard seeds were a thing, and in my head, that's what I imagined bottles of mustard coming from. I don't mean like mustard the substance, I mean like actual bottles of mustard. So this is a series that takes that concept and expands it out into entire adventures. Notably, the voice of Sam in the...
Wait. How do they make mustard from mustard seeds? Might look that up later.
first 3 games is Pamela Adlon, most famous for being the voice of Bobby Hill on
That's right.
King of the Hill.
Bobby
Though
Hill.
Personally, I'm more familiar with her.
Are you honestly asking? Yes. I can't imagine mustard is like literally just like crushed mustard seeds.
Role as Spinelli in the show Recess, a show that I do not know how I feel about even to this day.
Wait. Mustard is completely crushed mustard seeds? Ground up and made into a paste? Huh. Yeah, but if you make it into a paste, like you put water and shit in it. LO, you mash it and then you filter it? Yes. I don't know. I thought that's what it was, but the way he said that, it made me think that's not how mustard was made. Made me think there's a lot more ingredients. Or something. I thought you were trolling, that's why I asked. No, I was curious. I was a curious Andy there. Y'all can't see my red lights. God, you can still barely see them. Because the spotlights are so bright. I guess that's a little better.
I remember not particularly...
So then fancy mustards have all their ingredients, but it's mainly just mustard seeds? Interesting.
liking it growing up, but still watching it every single day.
This looks like a job for Pajama Sam!
Either way, despite being more familiar with this franchise than the rest of the franchises, I never played the first game growing up. We got the second and third games at the bottom of a cereal box, and I played those games relentlessly.
Wait, you can get them at the bottom of cereal boxes? What the fuck? I'm pretty sure I had my parents buy it for me at Sam's Club.
Having only played the first game for curiosity's sake in my adult years, I can honestly say that I think this is the best one of the lot.
That's
Since
right.
It's about overcoming fear of the dark, the graphics are gloomy.
Yeah, I got the Spy Fox demo from a cereal box. Was the Spy Fox game dry cereal? I'm trying to think where I got the Spy Fox demo. No, I did not. Oh. I don't know how I played the demos. Oh, the demos were included on like Pajama Sam and Freddy Fish. They were like included in those games. It was a global warming one, if I remember correctly. Operation Ozone, which is different than global warming, but I knew what you meant. I would kind of have to agree with this assessment that the first Pajama Sam game is the best one. The Thunder and Lightning one is pretty good, too.
Gloomy, but still very colorful. Plus, I love the detail that since this is all technically taking place in Sam's closet, that his various belongings are spread throughout the game world. And there's so much charm to these characters, especially with all the sentient objects that each have a distinct personality. From the furniture that dance but then stop dancing the moment you enter the room, to the singing kitchen appliances, to the communist carrot revolutionary freedom.
Whoa! 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 That's a big loaded word. That's a big loaded word. Communist revolutionary? I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
You enter the room, to the singing kitchen appliances, to the communist carrot revolutionary freedom fighter, to Sam himself.
What's up, Bite Sync?
Who's just a lovable goofball.
Ba-da-boom, ba-boom, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom, ba-da-boom.
I'm not sure what he's supposed to be. He's like a blue golem creature and has that Simpsons thing where you can't tell where his hair ends and his forehead begins. I also wanted to make special mention of this one boat.
Chat. His entire face is hair. His entire head is hair. That's the spoiler.
Who kind of sounds like Engine from the Crash Bandicoot games.
Yeah, that was fun. Let's do it again.
How about not right away, okay?
We meet again. Uka Uka and Dr. Cortex want me to teach you a lesson.
I especially like...
I just realized Engine from Crash Bandicoot games is supposed to be like engine, like a motor engine. You're getting a view inside my mind, chat, today.
This one part where he's explaining geysers to Sam, and it goes on for so long they literally throw up a disclaimer on the screen. That's
gratuitous educational content.
Tend to be smarter than their audiences to begin with.
That's
but
funny.
That is a classic. As for the game itself, it's very clever but still deceptively straightforward. Some playthroughs are harder than others, and I remember my first playthrough I ever did.
Yes, this is what I talked about. When you play these games, there's like multiple playthroughs, and some are not as easy. Like there was one you had to row, which is the one that you're seeing right here. We didn't have to do that in our playthrough. Actually, we played through twice. And it was a little bit different each time.
I actually got stuck at one point, but only because I couldn't for the life of me find the grandfather clock. Turns out it was off in another corner with no indication that there was an extra walkable path. I'm not sure if that's my lack of observational skill or just a bit of shoddy art design. Either way, this is another series that came out fully formed. I have nothing but good things to say.
That's
the
right.
Game of the four to rival the first game's quality, I would say, is the second game. This is a case where there's a thunderstorm raging and Sam has to go on a quest to try and stop the storm. So he climbs up to his attic, which has a convenient path to worldwide weather, the control station for all weather. Also, check that out. What were they feeding him as a baby? Bowling balls? Either way, once Sam gets to the control room of worldwide weather, he steps on his cape and somehow creates enough elastic force to propel himself across the room straight into the big red button that ruins everything. I don't understand why that was a thing. Maybe that's like...
That's because the physics don't work like that in worldwide weather, duh. The physics are different.
An emergency shutdown thing, but I'd think you'd want that as a small red button under a glass case. Either way, this creates a massive kerfuffle within the weather station, and you need to fix everything before Mother Nature shows up and Thunder and Lightning get in trouble. They're also deceptively nice to Sam, despite the fact that he was the one who just barged into their workspace and potentially cost them their jobs.
Lightning and I have important work to do here, so we need you to help fix the weather machine.
My favorite part of this game is clicking on the screens and getting these random, wacky weather reports.
How's the weather?
It's raining frogs in Frankfurt.
How's the weather?
It's hailing taxicabs in Texas.
How's the weather?
The Black Sea is turning orange.
And then there's Seattle.
Hey, that one looks sunny.
I know. Unfortunately, that's Seattle. Oh, what a mess.
This is actually one of 2 digs that Humongous Entertainment takes at Seattle in their games. They were based out of Washington, so presumably they had some sort of axe to
That's
grind.
funny.
As usual, the sequences of puzzles
Bothell, Washington is literally Seattle.
are pretty self-explanatory. There are a few more things that aren't as self-explanatory.
Hailing taxi cabs, goddamn. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Oh my god, that pun is so good. Where's S-Cow? That pun is so good. Hailing taxi cabs in Texas. Oh my god, that's amazing.
But nothing you can't figure out. I think the one thing that gave me trouble when I replayed this game for the first time in like 20 years back in 2020 was when you have to get the Y-pipe out of the vending machine with a couple of coins. How do you get the coins? You have to go to this weather simulator and select the option to make a rainbow, and then
yeah, that was annoying.
Gold that will appear that will give you a couple of coins. To quote myself from back then, that's not logic. That's a loony on a sesame seed bun.
Yeah. When I was a kid playing this game, I'm like, what the fuck? Obviously, as a kid, I wasn't saying what the fuck. I was getting very frustrated. But as a kid, I definitely explored a lot more. So I planted a lot of the seeds. So I saw what everything did. So like I was a completionist with the point and click games. I did not do that on stream because I wanted to keep y'all entertained.
The thing about this game, though, is that it used to unsettle me, particularly the idea that Mother Nature is gonna roll in and be all scary and stuff. I mean, the design doesn't help. She looks like an onion, so that's kinda creepy. Still, in hindsight, it's creative, it's elaborate, and it's varied. It's a pretty damn good junior adventure game in my book. After this, you have You Are What You Eat From Your Head to Your Feet, which I consider the weakest of the first 3 games,
I agree.
if it is the one I played the most. This one's about Sam trying to compartmentalize the idea of having a healthy diet after he splurges on cookies to try and get enough box tops to get a Pajama Man action figure. Yeah, Pajama Man's kind of a recurring thing in this series, as well as the idea of collecting things, because when you're in the game, you can collect all 20 box tops, but much like the collectibles in the first 2 games, which I didn't even bother mentioning, it's nothing that really results in anything worth the trouble.
It doesn't even give you a cutscene or anything. Like, I collected all my socks for Mom, and I didn't even get a thank you, Sam. Like, that's all I wanted. I just wanted a thank you from Mom.
Why I think this game is the weakest is that while it has some variability like the first 2 games, and you can even decide which choices to make, a large chunk of this game is predetermined. You always have to break out of prison. You always have to get to the food pyramid. You always have to feed this guy fries with his preferred sauce. You're probably about a third of the way through the game before any potential playthrough variety takes place, and even then, I find that this game is also the easiest of all the games, and for a series aimed at—
Oh, Ghost, are you a good boy? Who's asking? Becca, I could be whatever you want me to be.
elementary school
I'm
kid,
asking.
that is saying something.
But in an Indian accent.
Still, that isn't to say this is bad or anything, just weaker. I still love all the characters, the gourd guards who won't let you pass by unless you're a gourd.
Oh, wait a minute. It's gourds only, right?
Yes, and he's a gourd, so I guess that means,
The plumbers, and I never caught this as a kid, but I—
So it's not kinky. What if I have an Indian fetish? Keko? Okay, that didn't make me blush at all. Well, of course not. It's Pride Month. If you blush, that would mean you have hetero. And it's Pride Month.
I love how they're deliberately shaped to make a plumber's crack on their head, but the pun of plumbers is enough deniability that they can get away with that. Then there's the beans, the crying onion librarian, and of course General Beatfoot.
Right, yeah.
Alright, that's it.
Right, I can only like women this month? Yep. Don't you know it's illegal to be straight this month? Yep. It is illegal to be straight in the month of June. I forgot. That's why I'm an LGBTQ plus foe. For that reason. Finally, a good streamer. Hi, Yubi. Where are you coming from that you're saying finally a good streamer?
Means war!
You see, the plot of the game is that General Beatfoot is determined to—
I was bored. Fair. Fair, but welcome in. Hope you're having a good first day of Pride. But I am also LGBTQ plus foe. It's not working. It's not working. Chat doesn't believe me. I made a cake. Ooh, what kind of cake did you make? I made Big Ziti. Hold on. I'm going to show you. This is also my third plate, and I'm happy that chat hasn't judged me. What kind of cake did you make, Yubi?
To go to war against the other food groups, only being restrained by Carrot, who's a returning character. So you need to gather all the delegates of various food groups together for a peace negotiation. Unlike most peace negotiation meetings these days, though, thanks to Sam, it actually goes well once he makes a speech about how great food can only exist once the different food groups work together.
All the best things to eat are made by different kinds of food working together.
True.
And that's
Facts.
what you should all be doing.
Facts.
Which is actually a very clever analogy about how humanity and society can only be good once we as humans decide to work together.
What's this woke bullshit? What's this woke bullshit? They got this woke bullshit within the game? They're trying to tell us that diversity is a good thing? What the hell? I would do the same thing, Ghosty. No judgment here. I mean, I did play baseball today. Oh, I didn't tell you all how I did. So I got 2 walks, 2 hits, 3 stolen bases, and I think I scored 3 runs. And then I think I mentioned that my shoulder, as long as I threw with good technique, my shoulder didn't hurt. But as soon as I had bad technique, it hurt. Bread should only sleep with bread. Vanilla and pistachio. Goddamn. Vanilla and pistachio cake layers with vanilla custard filling and a pistachio buttercream. Yui, do you think you had enough vanilla and pistachio? No, I'm kind of jealous that you can bake. That's something I can't do. Ghost is having a stroke. Yeah, a stroke of good luck. Boom! Roasted. Got him. Does it hurt your sinuses when you fake laugh at my comments? I don't fake laugh at your comments, Keko. I laugh just like I do at the comedy shows. Yeah, you are bad at following instructions. True. My sister's request, it's her birthday tomorrow. Oh? Your sister's birthday tomorrow? You know who else has a birthday this week? This guy. Anyone can bake. Me, I make a mean brownie. Nice. Regular brownie or fancy brownie? Gemini's. My birthday's in 13 days. 14 for you? No, Keko. You got it wrong. Keko, I'm old. I'm over a year older than you. Interesting, a birthday during Pride Month. What's that supposed to mean? No, my birthday's in 13 days. But 14 for the US? For us? What? Keko, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Am I missing something? The US? My birthday is on June 15th. Okay. He's in the future. That is true. Oh, your birthday's in 13 days for you, and it's 14 days in the US. My bad. I forgot that you're in the future, except you can't tell me, you can't give me the scores of games. Dude can't read. I'm a leftist. Leftists can't read.
Regardless of our differences. It's just a shame I don't enjoy this game as much as the first 2 games. But as a whole, there's a reason why Pajama Sam was my...
I can read, though. Well, I don't think you're a leftist, Yubi. Just watching and waiting for the shoe to drop. Thanks. Thanks, Ari. Yubi, I'm obviously kidding. We figure shit out without reading. You know what? Not celebrating this year. Not after that. Wait, Keko. So when are we supposed to celebrate your birthday? So, like, are we supposed to celebrate your birthday on June 14th in chat? Because it'll be the 15th for you. But you were born in the States, so technically your birthday in Japan is June 16th. Chat, when Keko and I lived on the island, we used to joke that you got 46 hours of a birthday. Wild. Yes, technically it would be June 16th here. Yeah. Damn, it's going to be my first Twitch B-Day. I don't know what to expect. But yeah, so Keko and I on the island we lived on in the Pacific, we used to joke that you would get 48 hours for your birthday. So it'd be your birthday on the island. And then like as that day was finishing, everybody in the United States would wake up and then they would be saying happy birthday and shit to you all day. So it was kind of cool getting, see, I got basically 46 hours. I think if we did the math right, I think it was like 46 hours on my birthday. Time zones are wild. Yeah. No, 40 hours. I don't know. My 30th birthday was awesome, though. I played 18 holes on 2 different islands in the same day. And I shot at 85 and a 75, which should have been 2 rounds under 80. Mine's not till the end of October. Okay, I'll make notes, Ari. Yep, and receiving gifts 2 weeks minimum after they were mailed. Yep. And if your loved ones were good, they would time it out so that you got it on your birthday. Or if, a former girlfriend sent everything that you ever got for her back and didn't do the timing right, and you received all of that stuff back on Christmas. That happened too. Remember working Tuesday through Saturday? Yeah. My friend in Australia is 13 and a half hours ahead. We both forget the half hour on the regular. Yes. Australia has weird time zones. Ouch. I never get double presents on my birthday. Well, we wouldn't get double presents on my birthday. We would just get people saying happy birthday on the island and from home. I took my birthday off my social media. I took it off my social media because I was sick of fake people. Not fake people, but like people I didn't talk to wishing me a happy birthday. Oh, but dude, the gifts I got on the island. What did you get on the island?
My jam. Something about it just captures the chaotic inner workings of a child's imagination so authentically. The way there's so much random chaos that feels simultaneously like controlled chaos. So it makes sense in its own weird way because it has to make sense for it to be in someone's imagination.
Fucking $800 watches and shit? What? What the fuck? Who the hell were you friends with? Oh wait, were you in that swingers circle? Were you in the swingers circle? Is that why they gave you those good watches? I also hate my birthday off. I don't need people I don't talk to wishing me a happy birthday because their algorithm reminded them. Yeah. Usually if that shit pops up too, like if it says it's someone's birthday, I'll text them. I'll text them and not post it on their wall. Remember our friend from the post office who married in the royal family? He got me that. Damn. I don't know why I typed hate. I was absolutely not in the swinger circle.
One's imagination can be random, but it's the...
You guys are so grumpy. Well, welcome in, Otto. People in that circle looked gross. I guess. I dabbled once, and it freaked me out.
Type of random that has its own logic. Without that, these games will come across as inauthentic, and this is very authentic and clever and filled to the brim with personality. I may not engage with these games as much as I used to on account of no longer being part of the target
I remember.
audience, but I do enjoy the hell out of these games from a subject matter point of view. Once again, there is a...
I always buy a sweet treat for my birthday, otherwise I don't do much. That's fair. I treat it like every other day, but I was just talking to one of my best friends, and she asked me if I do anything special for it. I'm like, not really. I'm like, well, I guess technically today is celebrating my birthday because, like, I played baseball and I made baked ziti for myself, and that's like 2 of my favorite things. So I guess I'll chalk it up to celebrating my birthday today. treating myself to my birthday. But chat, I dominated baseball again, per usual. Also, chat, I know some of y'all saw my baseball pictures on Instagram. Do you want me to drop the rest of the baseball pictures in the Discord? Like all the other baseball pictures that I have, obviously without doxing myself. Remember the huge island-wide birthday my ex held for me? No. I don't remember that at all. Was I invited? Wait, no. I do remember this. I do remember that. When she got upset with one of our friends that just happened to be really drunk, and we know what he's like when he's drunk, and she got mad about it. We do dinner for birthdays with the fam, but I never really did a 30th birthday, so I'm thinking of doing something big this year. Nice. Happy birthday, everyone. Love you all. Have fun on your birthdays. Thanks, Otto. Yes, and blamed you. That's true. She did think that was me. And I was like the sober one helping everything. Thanks, Otto. Are you going to bed, Otto?
Is a final game, but we'll cover that once it comes up. Then we have the last of the big four
Spy Fox
properties, Spy Fox, starring the titular Spy Fox. That's how he introduces himself. So
also, yes, post more baseball photos. I'll be looking for a while. No problem, Otto. Did somebody in the chat earlier say they watched The Last of Us finale? Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, Nomar did. Nomar, did you like it? I don't know if you're still in here. Sorry, you were talking to Ari. That's why I didn't ask it earlier. Yeah, I think so. I don't know who, though. Yeah, I did watch it. What'd you think, Nomar? Without spoilers, please. For people that haven't watched it yet. I thought it was okay. I think the season was good. It was all right setting up the next season. Yeah, but I don't think I like that they split it up like this. I thought they should have kept it all together. I hate that actress though. Wait, Bella Ramsey? I mean, to be fair, literally every episode is like a full-blown movie. The bratty kid? Ellie? Oh. Okay. But yeah, they probably split it because like literally every episode is a full-blown like movie. And they didn't get renewed for season 3 until season 2 was about to premiere. So I guess they probably didn't know. I guess they probably didn't know if there was going to be a season 3, but like they knew there was going to be a season 3. Just opinion, no complaint. No, it's fine. I didn't dwell on it. They definitely have. They wrote Ellie kind of weird.
Presumably, that's his.
They wrote Ellie kind of weird, where like the game, she was like hell bent on revenge, but like I didn't really notice it until somebody said something about it. But the series didn't like really have Ellie with that blinding rage of vengeance. Well, I mean, there's portions where it was, but not the whole thing.
His name.
My name's Fox.
Oh, Yubi. Is it a younger sister? Did you say earlier? Younger sister, Yubi, or older sister? For the cake.
Spy Fox.
This is a series where you follow an anthropomorphic fox who's an international spy along with his cabal of companions, most notably Monkey Penny, who, let's be honest, is probably the #1 most searched page on the wiki, and Professor Quack as they investigate and solve matters of international importance. Now, Spy Fox is a series of games that I had the least amount of experience with overall before this. I played quite a lot of Freddy Fish and Pajama Sam growing up, and I'd seen a number of videos on the putt-putt series. Spy Fox, meanwhile, is one of those things that always just kind of existed. However, I do know for a fact that it...
I don't think we had to do that one. That would have been a cool puzzle.
It is arguably the most beloved series of games out of all of these, despite the fact that there was only 3 main games. Now, having experienced these games, I kind of understand why, and I have to pay my respects to Spy Fox because I went into it expecting it to be on the level of the other games in the Humongous Entertainment catalog, but Spy Fox comes across to me as almost on the level of your average graphic adventure game, not necessarily one made for kids. Because these other IPs are basically as straightforward as it gets. Like I said before, by the time you have every mandatory item, you pretty much know exactly what to do with all of them. Meanwhile, Spy Fox is a series that has multiple moving pieces. Aside from the standard inventory items, you also have various spy gadgets you can use, and while much like a lot of other Humongous Entertainment games...
And some of them you don't actually use at all, but they're probably used in like the varied playthrough later on.
Different playthroughs will yield different gameplay paths. You have access to all gadgets, meaning that you're inevitably not going to use all of them, but you may not know which ones you should take, and the application is not always self-explanatory. So it actually requires a bit of deduction about what is used for what specific circumstance. Then there's a third layer of the game design with the conversations. If you talk to someone, you may have the option to talk about them to other people, which will either be a puzzle in itself.
Hola. Hi, Emily. Happy Pride.
Or will give you insight into solving a puzzle. And more than anything, there are a lot of puzzles in...
My dates went well. That's good. That's good to hear, Emily. Congratulations on them going well. Are you sitting and waiting for texts back from the dates?
These games that don't require...
To Emily, what you keep saying today, that I'm a LGBTQ plus foe. I'm pretty sure I told Emily that last night. That I'm the biggest foe there ever was.
Items at all. It's purely down to
Goofy
observational skill and deduction. For example, in the first game, you need to know to talk to this bear about this specific person so that the bear will tell you that his shift ends 33 minutes after happy hour. Then you need to go
that one was hard.
See what the hours for happy hour are and make that deduction about what to set the ship's computer to in order for him to leave his post.
Last night? Monka? On stream last night, Emily, what the fuck? What the hell are you implying? Everybody knows that I only spend the night with Chat's mom. Chat's mom is the only one.
Post. Later on, there's also a puzzle based around putting the date and day of the week. You need to know to go to this specific terminal to find the date, and then you need to check the daily specials at the cantina to find out what day of the week it is. And that's only 2 examples. They're not necessarily...
I guess the day of the week. I guessed the day of the week and got it right. Wants to be the biggest foe like no one ever was. Yep.
Complicated if you know what to do, but if you're going in blind, you're probably going to end up stumped a few times. Because I sure did, and I'm not too proud to admit that. It's still nowhere near the level of like a Sierra adventure game, for example, but it's not quite as straightforward as you might expect it to be. If I had to guess, Putt-Putt 1 was released in 1992. Meanwhile, the first Spy Fox game was released in 1997. 5 years is a...
Dude, Patty McCory said, fuck you, you baby killer, to IDF guy as he beat him. Wasn't he saying Free Palestine as well? I'm just reading about more details now. Oh my God, that's fucking amazing. I love that. To be a foe is his real test. To be antagonistic is his cause. I 2 was released in 1992. That's a good one. I didn't think he was saying Free Palestine. I didn't think he was saying Free Palestine. The people in the arena were saying it. But like, it didn't seem like he was saying Free Palestine. But that's hilarious. Oh my God, that makes it so much better that he was beating his ass. He was also saying Free Palestine. Oh, okay. Dude, that's a dude that had like more motivation than he normally does. God, I'm so happy he fucking beat the dude's ass.
A lot when you're a kid. So if I had to guess, I'm thinking they saw their target audience was getting a little bit older and maybe wanted something a little more challenging. And you know what? I think it's great. The deductions and various puzzles in these games capture that feeling of being a spy, having to figure things out for yourself. The 3 games in the series were Spy Fox in Dry Cereal, which came out in 1997, Spy Fox 2 Some Assembly Required in 1999, and Spy Fox 3 Operation Ozone, which came out in 2001. Spy Fox in dry cereal is a very...
Maybe second day lined up with another trans girl, so that's what my Pride Month is looking like so far. Girl, get it. Yo! Yo! Yes! Okay, I have to show you. I have to show you what I'm seeing. Okay, this is Patty McCory's official Twitter page. It just says Street Justice, and it's a video of him beating the absolute piss out of this Israeli fighter. Oh my god, oh my god, he TKO'd him. I didn't even realize, I didn't realize he TKO'd him in that moment. Oh my god, that's so good. That's so good. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, there's an interview with this actress from Andor who is speaking about why she speaks out for Palestine, and so much of what she said was extremely relatable. Yeah, she also plays like the most evil, not evil, but like the most heartless person in Andor. Get your pride on, Emily. That's right. But yeah, Keko, you need to watch more Andor. Holly was saying that crabs might not be available until tomorrow. I have not watched Andor. Watch it.
Very odd name, but it's pretty indicative of the game. A villain named William the Kid, a goat, has kidnapped all dairy cows on the planet in an attempt to cause a massive flood with the world's milk supply, which will make everyone turn on the cows, thereby allowing goat milk.
What if I don't want to? Do it. Do it. Do it. Oh, Raiders, welcome in.
Or do you like copy embed code?
Raiders, welcome in.
I also clicked on the Twitter logo.
Amaya Pineapple, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate you. Hello.
From like Hassan. Like I posted on Twitter accidentally. Yeah, no. So I have no fucking idea. Where's my fucking badge, Twitch? Mad. I shared my.
Welcome in, Raiders. For those that don't know him, I'm Ned Ghostwriter. Most people call me Ghost. I am a variety gamer. We played a bunch of Humongous Entertainment games because I'm a boomer. So these are the games that I was playing as a kid in the late 90s and early 2000s. And we're currently reacting to a video of someone going through all the games and describing the backgrounds of the games, as well as the games themselves. So as you can tell, I do YouTube React content. I do news and politics as well. I have a YouTube channel, !YouTube, to check out History We're Not Taught, as well as Bad Faith Talking Points. I have fallen behind on that. I apologize. I've been saying I'm going to make a video for like the last 2 weeks, but I've been really bad about it. But yeah, welcome in. If you have to raid and run, I understand. I was lurking in the stream. I was giving you a salute because you told us as chatters to make sure that we peed, we pooped, and we farted. So I just wanted to let you know. Oh, and ! OF is pretty pog too. Yes. You said to watch Andor or what's the alternative? Just do it. Do it. Do it. Always fart and pee and also fart. Yep. Amaya was just spreading the word, and I appreciate it, Amaya. But welcome in, everybody. We're going to continue the react. Chat. Check out the YouTube. Check it out. Subscribe to it. Share it. Share with your family. Share with your friends. Share with your enemies. I don't care. Share it to everybody. Share it to the whole world. Make sure you watch every video and you like every video and just comment on it. But yeah, share it with everybody. Got him. Got him. Bedge, I'm going to bed, though. Much love and a good stream. Thank you, Amaya. I appreciate the raid. Thank you so much. It has a cooldown. Yes, it has a cooldown of a minute or once an hour, I think. Anyway, we'll get back to the video.
To reign supreme. You know, that is a series of non sequiturs that either indicates a supreme level of creativity or a supreme level of LSD. It is a remarkably stupid but fun plot, and of course it's carried relatively well by Spy Fox himself, voiced by Mike Medoy.
Just watch this spy heat the joint up with a demo of his spy heat.
And what really sells him as the character is his extreme
Thanks for the hydrate, Plank.
demeanor, that smug look on his face, his very low-key, kind of suave voice.
He has resting smug look, chat. Insta baseball picks it is. Wait, you wanted me to post them right now, Becca? You wanted me to post them right now in the Discord? I have to go through the pictures to make sure I don't dox myself. I have to select all the ones that aren't going to possibly dox myself. Becca thirsty? Apparently, but it's Pride Month. She's not allowed to be straight. We asked for more ass shots this time. I don't know how many ass shots you're to get. Go ahead. Someone watch it. Someone watch it. Exclamation point watch. If you're a VIP, you could also do exclamation point watch. Just so you all know. No? You told us as chatters to make sure that we peed, we pooped, and we farted. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay, I thought I was going to play multiple times.
Acting, as well as his tendency to make terrible puns.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're not terrible puns. They're great puns. They're puns that would make S-Cow blush.
This Nectar of the Goats jumpsuit might be just the thing I need to get the jump on William the Kid.
I don't know, he's a fun character, and I find it funny how he very rarely emotes beyond the bare minimum. Not until he stabs himself with a prickly pear in the third game.
Yeah, chat, that's a fun variety within that game, is you have to grab a prickly pear. But we didn't have to do that in our playthrough.
I think Lavinia from Trials of Apollo did something similar. The first game is probably the best out of all three of the main entries. It's the one where I remember most of the puzzles. There is one puzzle that I was very frustrated with, which is the fishhook puzzle. The timing on hooking the guard is slightly fiddly, but this game has creativity and cleverness out the wazoo.
This game was hard. This game was very hard.
Outside of the things I've mentioned, I think the puzzle that sticks...
Maya Pineapple, oh my god, you were doing a Zon reacts? Like, call to prayer reacts? No, Keko. That's what chatters call Hasanabi. We call him Azan. We call him Azan. Wait, there was a butt shot in the Instagram one? There was one butt shot. Okay. Oh, Lamau. Okay, gotcha.
Sticks out to me the most is the puzzle surrounding which of the grid spaces to go to in order to find where the secret facility is. Then again, it shouldn't have been hard to miss considering it was turning the sea white. Incidentally, once again...
Is that an okay butt shot for you, Becca and M? Is that butt shot okay? Y'all happy with that one? Is that enough butt? Huh? Was that enough butt for you two? But how many Ghost Rider back shots? Oh yeah, I can't show you this one. That would dox me. This is kind of a butt shot. This is a butt shot. Is that enough butt? Is that enough butt? Is that enough butt? Is that it? Enhance. Enhance. Obfuscate the stuff on your back doofus. I could, but that's too much work. The zoom has me choking. Good. Then you won't ask for more butt shots. The other guy looks like he doesn't in baseball. That guy scored earlier in the game. And then he walked into me and I tagged him really hard. Looks like he doesn't belong in baseball. I mean, the other team was wearing sleeveless jerseys, which was crazy. Oh, there's me swinging. That's not a butt shot, though. There. You got your butt shots. You got your butt shots. I showed them to you. Now clip them if you want them.
Again, I feel like I'm too cynical for these games because I thought that looked like something else. What can I say? It had to be thick and viscous in order for a concentration so high that it creates a blotch on the sea this opaque. If it was the same consistency as the water around it, well, it would have mixed in a lot more. Anyways, enough talking about spunk. Another thing I appreciate about this game is that the requisite...
Whoa, wait.
I thought that looked most is the puzzle surrounding which of the grid spaces to go to in order to find where the secret facility is. Then again, it shouldn't have been hard to miss considering it was turning the sea white. Incidentally, once again, I feel like I'm too cynical for these games because I thought that looked like something else. What can I say? It had to be thick and viscous in order for a concentration so high that it creates a blotch on the sea this opaque. If it was the same consistency as the water around it, well, it would have mixed in a lot more. Anyways, enough talking about spunk. Another thing I appreciate about this game is that the requisite mandatory arcade sequence is one of the better ones in the entire history of Humongous. Because it's a card game, and something that simple is perfect for a graphic adventure game. Specifically, you have to play Go Fish. And I'm surprised they didn't include Freddy Fish on the cards. Given their...
That would be funny. That would actually be hilarious. Is that enough butt? Is that it? Enhance. Enhance. Obfuscate the stuff on your back doofus. I could, but that's too much work. That's going to be a great clip. Emily, do you want to share it in the Discord? You should probably share it in the Discord. New OnlyFan command idea? No. No. Yeah. There's that butt.
You okay? Yeah.
Keko has this one saved. While she's vomiting? That's true. I forgot she was vomiting. That is true. I forgot she had morning sickness at the time.
Let's see if crossing over France...
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm a Dina simp. And after watching Dina in The Last of Us Season 2, I defend my decision to be a Dina simp. Because Isabella Mercad... Fuck, I got her fucking name right. I got her name wrong. Isabella Merced. I think it's Isabella Merced. Yeah, Isabella Merced. She played it beautifully. She's awesome.
franchises, and this is the game that taught me to always pay attention while playing, because I did not realize that to get the true ending, you had to be paying attention and click on this milk truck at the right time, which puts you in the final puzzle sequence, which is kind of indicative of the final sequence of all these games, in that—
Wait. I don't remember doing this.
the final sequences of all three of these games are the easiest parts of their respective games. All the deduction and cleverness kind of goes out the window.
Wait! Did I not finish this game? I don't think I finished this game, technically.
So as you just press a few things together and capture the bad guy. Either way, Spy Fox 1
Oh, no.
one of the more memorable games.
I don't think I finished that game. I think the guy got away.
Some assembly required, meanwhile, is probably the weakest of all three games.
I agree.
In this case, you're at what's called the World Fair, and you need to investigate this villain named Napoleon LaRoche and his society of meaningless
Napoleon
evil, larceny,
LaRoche.
lying, and yelling, otherwise known as Smelly. The villain LaRoche is bitter because as a kid, he couldn't get into the fair because he was too short. So now he's built a giant mechanical dog that will wake up and terrorize the world once the guest count at the World Fair reaches 1 million. This one kind of just takes place with
1 million.
Fair, unlike the previous game, which had multiple different locations that you went to. Okay, that's not necessarily true. You do have a section in the beginning in the Alps where you meet up with the Canadian Spy Corps, which for some reason are there. I'd imagine it's probably parodying a James Bond movie I haven't seen, but otherwise, you mostly—
Do he still hold World's Fair? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, we could look it up, right? They do it in Osaka this year? Really? As long as Elon Musk stays the fuck away from it. It's called World Expo now. The World's Fair were fucking sick back in the day. Except it would literally take them months. Nation branding. From World Expo 88 in Brisbane onwards, countries started using expositions as a platform to improve their national image through their pavilions. Finland, Japan, Canada, France, and Spain are cases in point. A major study by Jaco... Oh, I'll put this here. By Jaco Walvis calls Expo 2000 Hanover in numbers. Showed that improving national image was the main goal for 73% of the countries participating in Expo 2000. Oh, guess what? The United States is probably going to hold a World Expo then in a couple of years. Improve the world image. Expo Tower for Osaka, 1970. World Expo in Japan. World Expos. Every 5 years. Following numerous expos in the 80s and 90s. Some see this as a means to cut down on potential expenditure by participating nations. The move is also seen by some as an attempt to avoid conflicting with the Summer Olympics. World Expos are restricted every 5 years with specialized expos in the in-between years. Ew, gross. Yeah. That's okay. The United States gets to host the World Cup next year, I think. Is it next year? Yeah. Yeah, next year in Jersey. Well, it's not all in Jersey. But yep, we get to host the World Cup next year. Y'all remember how Germany hosted the 1936 Olympics? That's my prediction for the FIFA World Cup.
Just go from location to location to location in this single fair.
Location,
and there
location,
are some clever
location.
deduction puzzles. Particularly, I was a fan of that one puzzle where you have to get into the evil dog bot by stealing rose-tinted glasses and then spying on the guards going into the entrance of the dog bot, followed by a puzzle wherein you need to make a specific dish by cloning a...
Right. How the fuck is the Trump TSA going to deal with that shit? Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. They asked Trump about it and they said, well, they better leave. They better not stay. They better leave. There are 3 games in my city, but I think I may go to a Mexican game instead. Fun fact. Most of these stadiums that are in the United States are turf fields, but FIFA demanded and got natural grass fields. Natural grass fields to be installed for the games. And then the NFL owners are going to tear up the grass and then replace it with turf again, which most NFL players don't like because it actually hurts people. I watched the World Cup one year. It was an awesome game. The two teams were so good. Went to penalties and decide the winner. Yeah, it's cool. Grabbing food, BRB. No, not be awesome. I know people in India that have been truly trying to get a visa for the World Cup years in advance. I feel so sorry for them. Emily, I was being sarcastic. It's going to be fucking awful. I could go to Canada. Canada, you're going to go there for political asylum. My stadium is MLS and they already have grass. Oh, interesting. Chat, tacos or a sub. You always get tacos. Turf is slippery as fuck. Turf is not slippery as fuck. That's why people get hurt. Their cleats get caught in the turf and they turn and the foot doesn't give like a natural grass field would. So their knees blow out. Sub, tacos, loud drooling for the World Cup. Sub. Depends on what I'm in the mood for, but mostly tacos. He gets potato tacos all the time.
Pickle at a cloning facility. Keep in mind.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. You're welcome, Ari.
I am playing through them for the first time and only playing through them once, so there's a possibility that I'm missing out on some of the more clever puzzles, but I still think my opinion stands in this case because of the lack of variety in locations. But much like last time, you foil the evil plot, LaRoche tries to get away, but you...
Yeah, Spy Fox may foil the evil plot, but chatters haven't foiled the evil plot of me running an ad at the top of every hour. Because at the top of every hour, I run a 3-minute ad. If you want to avoid the ads, you can pay $5.99 for a subscription or get lucky and get gifted a sub, or you can link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account and get a free monthly subscription from Daddy Bezos to your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me. If it's not me, then hopefully it's Ari Boops. But here comes the 3-minute ad break now.
You follow him into his lair and capture him before he can get away. And then the final game in the main series is Operation Ozone. This one has an introductory...
I just DM'd you a funny music production tip. Yeah, I'll watch it. Can I watch it on stream? Oh, shit. I will watch it. I'll watch it after stream. Maybe depends. Trying to think how I could do this. Oh, crap. Depends. God, fucking Sakura's emojis are crazy.
One common mistake.
Okay, I can watch it here.
One common mistake I see a lot of beginner producers make is letting their sub be way too loud. Well, one trick I like to employ to fix this is to shove her face into the pillow. One common mistake I see a lot of beginner producers make is letting their sub be way too loud. Well, one trick I like to employ to fix this is to shove her face into the pillow.
God damn. Chat, I'm addicted to this game over here laundering money. Damn. Nice, S-Cow. You're laundering money? What are you, one of them criminals? BRB for food as well. Oh, wait. Oh, LL. Nope. Now BRB. I saw that. I was going to ask about it.
Scene that is almost a shot-for-shot parody of the opening of GoldenEye. But the rest of the plot is about this villain named Poodles Galore, whose name is probably a
Poodles
parody
Galore.
of Pussy Galore. She's a makeup specialist who's decided to try and destroy the ozone with a large aerosol can, because then her powerful SPF 2001 sunscreen will sell gangbusters. This barely strikes me as a parody. This feels like something a corrupt CEO would do IRL.
Yep.
Christ, don't give Elon ideas. But anyways, the plot is a large...
Yep. 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 Also, the science in this game, not great. Not great, Jeff.
Actually based around finding ingredients for what's called the congeal pill, so you can break into the aerosol can and stop the spray.
Wow,
in this
spoiler
case,
alert.
it feels like the developers heard my complaints through time and decided to include 4 separate distinct locations for various puzzles. Once again, this one is all about observation, skill, and cleverness, and I think pretty much every puzzle I can remember off the top of my head is fairly elaborate. In my playthrough, there was one part where I had to get a beekeeper hat so I could break into a prickly pear farm, but they wouldn't let me leave with it, so I had to put it on a plank and send it downstream, but not before turning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite ones to do, and I didn't do it with you all. Unfortunately. I remember doing that one as a kid.
Turning the crank on the reservoir so the plank wouldn't go down the waterfall. And it's funny, the person you get the beekeeper hat from is a recurring female bear character, and she's among some of my favorite characters in this series.
Is there anything I can get you, honey? Say, for instance, honey?
She constantly gives you so much shit, and the running gag about how she just so happens to be working the most important odd jobs in each game, that's clever, and it actually reminds me of a character I have planned for a sitcom pitch I'm putting together. The other highlight for me is when you have to get a specific variety of beauty clay, and you have to suss out that the description of the clay will determine where you have to grab the clay from. The ending is a bit lame though, because Poodles Galore prevents you from throwing the congeal pill into the spray, and the solution is to do the exact same thing again. It's really lame, but then you have another ending sequence where you have to capture the
Also, after that scene, Spy Fox says, I want my tax I need to arrest you and throw you away so my tax money can rehabilitate you. Spy Fox woke, baby.
villain once and for all, and that's that. Turns out Monkey Penny can kick more ass than Spy Fox. Honestly, a very solid trilogy of games. Of course, there are spin-offs, and in fact, all these games have spin-offs. But in all honesty, I have no interest in them.
Yep.
For me, it's all about the main series games. What I like about these franchises is that they each had drastically different feels to them. With Pajama Sam, you got the sense that it was a game entirely constructed from a child's boundless imagination. Spy Fox is a spy thriller pared down to a childlike whimsical level. Putt-Putt feels straight out of a children's storybook, and Freddy Fish feels like a fun investigation series made in...
You gonna do jump starts? No. No, I played Jumpstart second grade, which is the one that I had, and it's a fucking grind. I didn't realize how much of a grind it was. It's crazy.
Better by setting it underwater, which allows for so much creativity. Which is not to say these 4 franchises were the only things they made, merely that they were the pillars.
It is a hell of a grind. Yeah, I don't want to grind that on... I don't want to grind that on stream.
The base by which everything was built around. They also made some Blue's Clues games, several more decisively edutainment games, and of course, the Backyard Sports franchise, which included backyard baseball, soccer, football, and basketball.
Chat, do you want to watch me play sports games? And if not play sports games, do you want to watch me play like backyard sports games? Out of curiosity, I was thinking about this. I was like EA Golf. I mean, we could do golf with friends too. I don't think I have EA Golf. Ew, EA. I don't have EA Golf. Oh, EA Golf is the one that has the Masters, I think, right? But golf would be an interesting one because I could show you like what I do for work. Electronic assholes. Golf with friends is fun. Yeah, I mean, I've done golf with friends before in the past. We actually did it about a year ago. I don't know, man. I haven't played sports games since PS2 EA Sports Series. Damn, Yubi. Obviously, I'm a sports nerd. That would be fun, though. Obviously, I'm a sports nerd. So, like, I have sports games. I tend to play sports games. I just don't play them on stream because I know most of y'all aren't sports people at all. Sports. Yeah. Yeah, Yubi. Speaking of golf with friends is on Prime Gaming. Ooh, interesting. Who did we play with? You, me, Alex, and who? Sandal. We did that to celebrate my birthday last year. And then I went on a date afterwards with the conservative, who I just texted today. And it's typical. She gives me a response, I respond back, and then no response. Yubi, I can fix her. Yubi, I can fix her. She brought up politics. Come on now. Okay. Yubi, she was pretty. She was really pretty. And I could fix her. She brought up politics on the first date. I was avoiding it at all costs, but she brought it up. So I'm like, well, I might as well just lay it out in the open from the get-go. Bro, was that almost literally a year ago? Yeah, it was June 25th. Also, why are you still texting her? Because I would like to be friends with her. Still? Is that okay? I don't have a lot of friends, Esco. She was also open to, like, my opinions. Like, she literally listened to everything I had to say. I can fix her. I can do it. Also, we watched Fallout together. And we watched Fallout together. We talking about Siri? No. Oh, Ghost. What? Anyway, we watched Fallout together. Has everybody watched the Fallout series? So, in the Brotherhood of Steel, there's an NB character. And it's played by an NB actress, I think. But the character itself is also an NB. So we get to that scene, and she just goes, "What even is she? What is she?" I'm like, "Oh, she's non-binary." And like I said it, just no big deal. Like, "Oh, she's non-binary," or they're non-binary. They're a non-binary character. And like I didn't see her face, but I imagine she fucking rolled her eyes. Because we had a conversation about like trans people on another date that we had. And I had to explain to her that she was like, "Oh, biological sex." I'm like, biological sex isn't non-binary or is non-binary. And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, there's more than XX and XY chromosomes. I'm like, there's XXY and there's like intersex people, yada, yada, yada. And like, she just couldn't comprehend it. And then in that discussion, she's like, "Are you calling me stupid?" I'm like, "No, you formed an opinion based off misinformation that you were given from a Fox News." Jesus Christ. Hey, she kept talking to me. She continued to come back. It's not like I scared her away. She kept coming back. And then at one point she goes, "Hey, I'm not in a right spot right now to pursue a romantic relationship." So that was your first area you tried to start a hetero relationship in June? That's true. Typical dude thinking with his pee-pee. How often do you all make fun of me for being allegedly an incel? If you can't keep a convo going, she doesn't want to talk to you. We did keep a convo going. She responds to me almost immediately, and then I text back, and then there's just no response. I'm like, all right, whatever. Pink is for girls, blue is for boys, end of story. Yeah. Someone is so defensive. I was being kind. It's a free country. Do as you please, Ghosty. Okay. I need to have a conversation with chat, apparently. Where's my mouse? Chat. We always talk about being compassionate to people, right? We always talk about being compassionate to people and giving people a chance. So y'all are mad at me that I gave somebody a chance. What the fuck? I'm literally in an area that I'm surrounded by fucking Nazis all over the place. You think I'm not gonna have to date a conservative? What the fuck? Was it Michael Brooks said, be kind to people, but ruthless to systems? I'm not mad. I'm laughing at you. Okay. Right. That isn't keeping the convo going. Me responding to her isn't keeping the convo going. She also told me she's notoriously awful at texting, which she is really bad at texting. No, Ghost, we're wondering why you're putting work into someone who refuses to give it back. dude, it's like a text message. It's a text message to see how she's doing. Because I'm offering to be friends with her because she says she doesn't really have a lot of friends in the area, as don't I. And she lives like a block from me. She lives down the road. I know how you can avoid dating conservatives. Tammy.com. What the fuck is Tammy.com? Oh, God. That doesn't help me, Emily. I mean, honestly, I'm not laughing at you. I just kind of feel bad for you. Shit happens. Shit happens. I mean, honestly, a lot of the shit that I do nowadays, not nowadays, but in general, is like just to have a different life experience. Because then I get to tell you guys these wonderful stories. I have content brain. And Keko and I had this discussion. The fact that him and I have content brain is probably bad because we're always looking for content. We're always looking for content. Just date bi girls, but don't be weird about it. I mean, it'd be cool to date a bi girl, but like, I don't know. There's a lot of swingers in my area based on the dating apps, but I deleted Tinder and Bumble because I was fucking sick of it like 2 months ago. Yeah, she doesn't want to talk to you. Obviously, go find someone better. You're a fantastic ghostie. Start treating yourself that way. If she didn't want to talk to me, she wouldn't answer me at all. Or she would block my number. What the fuck? There are trans pansexuals on that app, like myself, that look for any gender. Men can be so weird about it. Yes, I know men can be weird about dating a bi girl. Because obviously men are like, oh my God, immediately threesome. But I, as a community member in the Hasanabi broadcast, have realized that that's not how that works. Treat people like human beings. And if they bring it up, I'm not going to say no. Dude, I messaged the entirety of my dad's side of the family the other day, but I am so brain broken from the internet that wrote it as if I was in chat and weirded them all out. Like I went on 8 tangents. See, I told you, Keko and our brains are so fucking broken. Imagine having someone being interested in you. Couldn't be me. Yeah. I know the feeling, yes, Cal. Okay. Back to Reacts. After y'all roasting me on my limited dating life. Or I could just say fuck it and not try to date anyone and just literally work all the time.
Basketball before the end of 2001. Only a few of these games have an official modern release, although apparently more are in development by a team called Mega Cat Studios. Although I'm not entirely sure why they haven't.
Not necessarily. Ghosty girls won't block numbers because a lot of dudes will literally start stalking them if they don't get replies. So she's trying to be polite and hope you're not a fucking weirdo. What? Yeah, I definitely know that feeling. Okay, I'm very big on just saying what you mean. She's also a conservative. Like, she doesn't know how to be polite. True, I just kind of send courtesy replies. Like, she's a conservative. Like, they don't do that shit. They're not courteous at all. They're selfish. I'm very big. Okay, flex. Okay. She's also neurotypical. I don't know what that means. I don't know, chat. She's also like okay. If she was genuinely worried about like me stalking her and shit, why the fuck would she be telling me about her life when she responds to me? Sorry to say this, dude, but they do because they're scared of guys, rightfully so. Yeah, I mean, she came out of a really fucking horrible relationship. Just telling you how it is, my guy, trust me. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm putting myself in their shoes. And like, if I didn't want to talk to somebody, I'd tell them like, hey, lose my number, or like, hey, I'm not interested. So like, the fuck? Yeah, I agree. It's often to protect ourselves because you never truly know a guy's intentions. If a woman does that, she gets killed, Ghosty. Oh my God. Everyone of all political stripes are affected by patriarchy. Women are taught to fear men for a lot of reasons. Okay, that's fair. Whatever. But like, I don't know. It was pretty apparent. I was being very apparent that like, if she ever felt uncomfortable with anything, like I wasn't, like I even said, when we were going on dates, I was like, listen, it sounds like you were in a traumatic previous relationship. Just whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not going to push anything. Just whatever you're comfortable with. And that's literally how I was the whole time that we were talking to one another. A friend of mine right now is dealing with something like that where she told the guy to lose her number and he was at her house banging down the door. Now she has to find a way to move. Oh, fuck. I'm really, really sorry you had to find out this way, Ghosty. I mean, that was in the back of my mind, but like, again, you could just, whatever. Listen, we are not in your DMs, so we don't know for certain, but this is just the vibe we are reading right now. No, that's fair. I get it. It's fucking irritating. It's irritating that it has to be like this, is what I'm getting at. Like, yeah, it doesn't feel good, but like, it's fucked up that you can't just say, hey, I'm not interested. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm fucking annoyed about. Like, I've been ghosted more often than fucking not. Like, just fucking ghost me. But like, I also, like, when she texted me that like, hey, I'm not pursuing a romantic relationship right now, I'm like, well, I'd like to continue to be friends with you. And she said, yeah, no, that's great, and we can hang out or whatever. So like, sorry, I'm fucking taking somebody's word. Just getting worse with his presidency? Yeah, she fucking voted for him too. She said that to protect herself? Okay. Well, then I guess I will never text her again. Simple enough.
Been able to re-release them, at least up to a certain point. Most of these games were also developed on the Scum engine, which is kind of impressive to make.
I'm sorry, Ghosty, guys, I don't give a shit. She's a fucking conservative. Do you really think that relationship would ever work? Do you really think that relationship would ever work?
Games that high quality in an engine specifically made for point-and-click adventure games. And the big reason why all the big pillar point-and-click adventure games were able to be translated to so many various platforms is because the Scum engine is still being supported and updated to this day. You may question why the same company who owns the junior...
I will say though, the women in this area, they immediately throw up a wall when you just try to have a conversation with them. Because the guys in this area are fucking pieces of shit. So like, I'll go up and just start a conversation and they immediately fucking put a wall up. And I'm like, okay, there's no fucking point in this. I mean, just let us know if she invites you to a clan cookout. Yes, go see. Yes, the wall. Yeah, it's just, it's annoying. I'm literally just trying to have a conversation with them. Like, I don't have to be pursuing like sex with them. I just want to have a conversation with someone that's pretty. If it leads to something, it leads to something. If it doesn't, it doesn't. She wants to build the wall too? Yeah, she does.
Games don't also own the Backyard Sports games, and that's because the Backyard Sports franchise and that alone was sold to a different company than the Junior Adventure games, and after several mergers and acquisitions, the franchise now belongs to a company called Playground Production.
Yeah, it happens a lot here, but then again, I'm scary, Brown. Okay, another thing I'm thinking, if I just straight up text her and be like, hey, like, could you just like let me know? Like, do we want to try to be friends or not? Because I feel like that's just going to come off as me being a psychopath. Just asking for clarification. I feel like in women's brains that they're just going to interpret it as like, oh, if I say no, I don't want to be friends, he's going to come hunt me down. That sounds terrible. I know it sounds terrible. That's what I'm saying. I know it sounds terrible. Like, I just, fuck it. I won't say anything then. Oh, I'm so sick of the games. Try inviting her to a friend thing with other people present. Like, hey, me and my friend are having a board game night. You act like I have friends. Can't be that direct with MT people. If she texts you without you texting first, she wants to keep up that arrangement. If she doesn't, then she doesn't. She has texted me. She has texted me a couple times without me initiating a text. So that's why I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? She called me New Year's night too. She called me New Year's night because she thought she lost her dog and she asked for my help, but I was in Pennsylvania at the time. But yeah, she has texted me without me initiating, asking how I was, like multiple times. It hasn't been recent, but so can y'all understand why I'm very confused by you? Baby friend vibe said, that's what I was fucking saying. Oh, God. Also, I think I have to look up neurotypical because I'm not positive what that means. Oh, so she's just a normie? She's also a horse girl, too. For the new people in stream.
Who are the ones?
It means not autistic, ADHD, dyslexic. Oh, I guess that wouldn't be normie then.
Who commissioned the various remasters and re-releases. As far as my opinion on the backyard sports games, given the fact that they're not available.
She basically speaks different languages. No, I understand that now. I understand what you guys are getting at. But like, again, I feel like I didn't misread this. I feel like it's one of those people that will respond to a text message, receive a text message, and then not really look at it until like a day or two later. And they're one of those people, instead of just answering a day or two later, just won't answer. That's all I'm saying. That's how I interpreted her personality and everything like that. Maybe it's copium, maybe it's not. But like literally when we started, only text if you're trying to set up plans, kind of like Emily said. I mean, okay. I try to start a conversation. And then based on how the conversation goes, I go, okay, it's time to ask to set up plans. But the problem is that after she responds and then I respond, there's no answer to continue the conversation. I am not neurotypical, so I overread situations all the time to avoid messing up. That's fair. And I overanalyze shit too. But I don't know if I'm neurotypical or not. But again, I try not to immediately set up plans when I talk to people. I try to have a conversation first and then set up the plans in the midst of the conversation. Dude, if I get along with you, you're not NT. No, start the convo. Hey, would you want to do this thing? Let me know when you're free. Yeah, I don't think I've done that yet. It's mostly like, hey, how have you been? How are your animals? And then she responds. Then I respond, and then nothing. That's friend vibes. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, I did ask her if she wanted to go walk her dog again on a hike a while ago, but never got a response. But I think that was when I was trying to set up a conversation. Yeah, we were here for a Satisfactory playthrough. That's true. I did it, folks. What'd you do, Plank? Like already going into it with an idea for a hangout? Yeah, that's fair. I got an Australian hog to threaten me with the race war on Twitter. Oh, shit, Blank. Oh, shit. Congratulations, Blank. I was curious because Super said he's cool and I trust Super. What are you trusting Super for?
Available for purchase, I've not played them, and even growing up, my experiences with them began and ended with the demo discs. I will say with absolute certainty that I would have loved them had I played them just based on what little sampling I had. And this is a series to this day.
Exploji. I regret saying that out loud on my stream.
Oh. 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 Imagine Super, a trained therapist and super chill human, knowing anything about cool people. Facts. Because coming from someone who mostly dates men, just, hey, how are you, reads, hey, wanna fuck? What? What the fuck are men doing? What if I'm genuinely interested in how they're doing? What the fuck? I don't know. You ask other men? I mean, there was times where I did that. There was times where that was my intent, but that was like in fucking college. The fuck? God, men suck. Dude, we can't have anything because men are dumb as shit and think they deserve sex. Well, I mean, I feel like deserve is a strong word. It's always something. I'm done. This is my personal experience. Keko, I love you. Stop that. Listen, Keko gets it. And by it, I mean he gets ass constantly. I don't want any unhygienic bodily rubbings. Thank you. These fucking dumbass guys ruining for other guys. 100%. 100% Keko. I was talking about it earlier. I literally will be at a bar and I'll just walk up to a woman and just try to start a conversation. Boom, wall up. Jesus Christ. And usually the only women that would talk to me are the fucking psychopathic right-wingers that literally say Nazi shit. It's crazy. The fucking conversations I've had with people in this area. They start saying shit and I'm like, oh my God, you're a Nazi. Apparently, and Nazis think it's okay to talk to me. So my policy is I only talk to women and dudes that aren't pieces of shit or honorary women. Wait, am I an honorary woman? Wait, am I an honorary brown and an honorary woman? Am I an honorary brown and an honorary woman? Same. LOL, I only date white guys. Then they come talk to me. Why, lady? Why? Then baby blue is very misleading. Why is it misleading? They're just my eyes. Yes, Ghosty, you're an honorary woman. Woo! What's my woman name? Ugh, sex people talk, back to trolling hogs. So is Keko and Theo. We're not talking sex, Plank. We're talking about women. So for those that don't know, my honorary brown name is Tahir Al-Doblini. So what's my honorary woman name? Your woman name is Jane. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. To be fair, Jane has been used for a long time. Jane has been used for a long time. That's fair. I should have saw it coming. I love it. Thank you, Becca. Becca has been calling me that for fucking months, Ari. She's been calling me that for months. And I don't remember why. It was probably an auto thing. Tara, in my opinion. I haven't in so long. Yeah, I know, because I started calling you a name that you didn't like. But I love Plank is haunting. Plank is haunting so hard. He's lurking and then just pops in randomly with banger messages.
Hey, that outside of the junior adventure games are most fondly remembered.
Haunting? Yeah, that's what Ari and Super Loops came up with the name. Haunting. Amazing way to say that. Ghosty, did you get Haunt Command yet? No, I didn't. I can, though. Yeah, Ari and Supa came up with that, I think. And it works perfect for me. Because I'll jump into Ari or Super Loops chat and just will randomly pop in all the time. Yeah, and Lime. Lime was there too? Was it in Supa's stream or was it yours?
By a lot of people, especially because they were the most popular of all the games that Humongous Entertainment made on average. To put things in...
Yeah, I made the command and he was the first to try. Supa stream? Yeah. And then Supa made it like right after you. I got a gay clip for y'all on my feed right now. We're foes. We don't watch gay shit in here. We literally watched this the other day. We watched this the other... Oh, my God. You can't keep sending me the same clip over and over again. We literally watched this the other day. It is Pride now. We literally watched this the other day.
Hey, Adora. Hey, Ketra.
Cool. I'm a foe, remember?
Into perspective, from what I could dig up, the Backyard Sports franchise sold a combined 15 million copies.
Yo!
Which is roughly on the same level as every
crazy.
game in the Junior Adventure series combined. And from what I
The gay, yeah, I like women. Good for you guys.
understand, the vast majority of the Backyard Sports sales were before 2001. Which means the vast majority of those sales came from 5 or 6 games. But the Junior Adventure series still sold respectably for what they were. And that's kind of where my personal experience with these games ends, which brings us to the most depressing part of proceedings. So, what ended up happening to Humongous Entertainment? Well, truth be told, it is a whopper of a story, to the point where I didn't believe half of what I was reading. So
I'm excited for this.
In 1996, Humongous Entertainment was sold to GT Interactive for no less than $76 million. Keep in mind, this...
What? $76 million for Freddy Fish and shit? That doesn't like women. This is news to me. You're right. I'm going on my incel arc right now.
This was before they hit their apex, so they still had upward mobility at this point, yet they still got sold for what is at time of writing the equivalent of $152 million.
Jesus Christ.
And things were going great. Putt-putt was still going strong, Freddy Fish was going strong, Pajama Sam and Backyard Sports were on the horizon. They struck a deal with Nickelodeon to make the aforementioned Blue's Clues games.
Blue's Clues games?
Looking up. Unfortunately, in 1999, facing financial issues, Infogrames bought a majority stake in GT Interactive. And this is where things get interesting and slightly depressing, because if you know anything about Infogrames, you know that it was one of the most tragically mismanaged game publishers, despite at the time being among some of the biggest games publishers out there. If you look up the trail of bodies they left behind, it rivals something like EA, and I do not say that lightly.
Oh man.
Now, the history of Humongous Entertainment post Infogrames acquisition is long and complicated, and
I feel like I played a lot of games with Infogrames. Cool. Also, weren't mermaids like manatees? That was for Emily. Yeah, if you're sending a link in the chat, you think I'm not going to watch it?
There are people far more qualified than I who can go over the bits and pieces, but here's more or less what happened.
Also, my shoulder hurts a lot right now.
Bad. The company seemingly puttered along until 2001, as it had been doing for several years. However, the first cracks emerged in 2000. You see, the original founders, Ron Gilbert and Shelley Day, wanted to buy back ownership.
Mermaids were manatees and beluga whales. Oh, God. What's this clip? What's this clip? That doesn't like women. This is news to me. You're right. I'm going on my incel arc right now.
From Infograms. Everything was going as planned.
How many clips of me do we have of me saying I'm going on my incel arc?
They had backers who were willing to fund the purchase. They had a verbal agreement to buy the company from Infograms, and then something happened that's so coincidental I still don't fully believe it actually happened. Apparently the exact day the purchase was supposed to be formalized was the exact day that it was commonly agreed that the dot-com bubble burst. The dot-com bubble is a whole separate topic that's too complicated for me to go into, but long story short, in the mid to late 90s, the rapid rise of the internet led to a rapid rise of tech startups and a massive amount of venture capital being invested. But the insane amount of startups at the same time led to an inevitable collapse when there were too many startups, too much investment, and not enough money to go around, leading to a bunch of...
So we'll make a montage? Get on that arc already, babe? Oof. Did Bernie Madoff kill Humongous? I have to rewatch that.
More qualified than I who can go over the bits and pieces, but here's more or less what happened. At first, things weren't actually so bad. The company seemingly puttered along until 2001, as it had been doing for several years. However, the first cracks emerged in 2000. You see, the original founders, Ron Gilbert and Shelley Day, wanted to buy back ownership from Infograms. Everything was going as planned. They had backers who were willing to fund the purchase, they had a verbal agreement to buy the company from Infograms, and then something happened that's so coincidental I still don't fully believe it actually happened. Apparently the exact day the purchase was supposed to be formalized was the exact day that it was commonly agreed that the dot-com bubble burst. The
Mr. Moneybags' internal webpage from the employees that have been exploited and have been denied the value that they have created for that they've created under the thumb of Mr. Moneybags.
Fuck you!
I should have known that's how that clip was gonna end. I should have fucking known that's how it was gonna end. I cooked during that trial. Keko was absolutely fucked. I was on fire on that trial. I was just thinking, I need to edit that. And I need to edit the one where I was the defendant's lawyer, and then immediately turn it around and be like, oh, actually, this was Fox News' argument to prevent Tucker Carlson from getting sued. Okay, I need to rehear this because this kind of blew my mind.
A whole separate...
Okay.
Until 2001, as it had been doing for several years. However, the first cracks emerged in 2000. You see, the original founders, Ron Gilbert and Shelley Day, wanted to buy back ownership from Infograms. Everything was going as planned. They had backers...
So 2000, they're trying to buy it back from Infograms.
...who were willing to fund the purchase. They had a verbal agreement...
Okay, so backers willing to fund the purchase are there.
...to buy the company from Infograms.
There's an agreement.
And then something happened that's so coincidental I still don't fully believe it actually happened. Apparently the exact day the purchase was supposed to be formalized was the exact day that it was commonly agreed that the dot-com bubble burst. The dot-com bubble is a whole separate topic that's too complicated for me to go into.
That's
but long
crazy.
Story short, in the mid to late 90s, the rapid rise of the internet led to a rapid rise of tech startups and a massive amount of venture capital being invested. But the insane amount of startups at the same time led to an inevitable collapse when there were too many startups.
Bernie Madoff killed Humongous? Is that how Bernie Madoff got found? Was the dot-com bubble? I know Bernie Madoff scammed a lot of rich people. That's the only reason he fucking got caught and sent to jail. But was it the .com bubble that did him in?
Startups, too much investment, and not enough money to go around, leading to a bunch of tech startups suddenly going out of business, which led to a massive fire sale of stock, which made the value of all the stock completely collapse. When that collapse happened appears to be, by my research, March 10th, 2000, where the Nasdaq opened at 5,060, but by March 13th had already dropped to 4,879. Incidentally, the 10th...
That's literally like a normal trading day. That's literally a normal trading day in the Donald Trump presidency, just dropping 200 points. I remember my friend told me he got a job at Hotels.com and how he was going to make it big. 3 weeks later, Hotels.com closed their doors and got bought by Priceline and fired everyone. Oh, that sucks. Did they have a contract and get paid out? I guess not if they got fired.
10th was a Friday, so that's why we don't have any info for the 11th and 12th. Either way, with all these startups starting to face massive debt, venture capital dried up, so Mr. Gilbert and Mrs. Day lost their funding and the deal ultimately fell through, meaning that they, along with several key members of staff, left the company shortly thereafter. And this is where Infogrames started to stick their fingers into the pie because they didn't like the way the company was structured. They started expecting far too much profit for far too little budget, much like many companies.
Wait, you're telling me a corporation was expecting far more profit than they could possibly have produced? Get out of here. They gave severance to anyone there more than 5 years, which wasn't many people because of turnover. Oh, God, that sucks. Ascal, would you know anything about corporations expecting way too high of a profit margin and then failing to get that profit margin? Would you know anything about that?
Companies. They weren't satisfied with making some money, they wanted to make all the money. And while the core pillar content of Humongous Entertainment's catalog was still making some money, just not a ton of money, there was one thing in their output that was making money pretty much...
Nah, I've never been in that position. Okay, just checking.
Hand over fist. That being the backyard sports games. So in 2001, Infogrames did 3 things to show off their incompetence. 1, they laid off 40% of the work staff within the company. 2, they canceled several unnamed projects, one of which was apparent.
When you are laying off that many people, it doesn't end well most of the time. What the fuck? Corporation starts with a C. Charity starts with a C. What more proof do you need? What are you connecting? Are you connecting dots, Otto, that I can't see? Please explain it to me. You know what also starts with a C? Chicagoland. Every corporation is a charity based out of Chicagoland. That's what I'm seeing. SMRT.
Apparently Freddy Fish 6 and 3, they refocused all their efforts into the backyard sports franchise. The only exception to this was Moonbase Commander in 2002. But the fact that it exists is the extent of my knowledge about it. You can buy it on Steam, and based on the...
No, Chicagoland is by the lakes, no sea. Well, technically it's saltwater, so you can say there are seas, right? You know what also starts with a C? Communism. Communism!
Steam page, it looks like it reviewed well and is beloved by the people who have played it, but there's probably a reason why I've never heard of it. And that hunch was proven correct.
Otto, I'm realizing that most of the people in chat right now have never seen you speak about Chicagoland. If the Caspian Sea counts as a sea, surely the Great Lakes count? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, actually, technically the Caspian Sea is landlocked, right? But the Great Lakes are connected to the oceans. Aren't there streams that connect all of them? You think the Great Lakes are saltwater? Are they not saltwater? Oh, no, they're not saltwater. They're freshwater. Never mind. I was wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I admit I was wrong. I admitted I was wrong. The Great Salt Lake is? Yeah, that's what I just realized. But then technically, wouldn't the Great Salt Lake be a sea? What kind of New England boy are you? I'm not New England. In Utah? Yes, I know Utah. So shouldn't the Great Salt Lake be a sea then? I'm not a New England boy at all. What the fuck, Otto?
fact, according to one of the Steam reviews I read, Infogrames basically buried this game because they're a bunch of incompetent pricks. The junior adventure concept was officially dead, at least for the time being. That was until the company came under the ownership of Atari Inc. Now, this is where things...
A sea is determined by its borders, not its content. Sorry, Caps. New England boy? If you can see a salty bottle of water, clearly it's a sea. So basically, if a body of water is touching multiple different countries, it's considered a sea. Is that what we're saying? More than 2 countries? Because technically the Great Lakes are the border between Canada and the United States. So if it's more than one border, 2 countries at the same time, man? What? Because technically the Great Lakes are the border between Canada and the United States. That's what I'm saying. This is just like when Otto came in. This is just like when Otto came in and my lake touches Canada. This is just like when Otto came in and claimed that everything that ends in land ends is a country. And I said Cleveland like within 2 seconds. Aren't there streams that connect all of them? You think the Great Lakes are saltwater? Are they not saltwater? Oh, no, they're not saltwater. They're freshwater. Never mind. I was wrong. I'm wrong. Cleveland doesn't count because it actually
I admit I was wrong. Eland? It's
I
called
admitted I was wrong.
Cleveland.
Things get really confusing to the point where I actually had to outsource my research to YouTuber Shadowstreak. So basically, Infogrames SA was the main holding company. The SA in this case, which is a very unfortunate acronym, is a French acronym meaning... Société Anonyme. The American equivalent is a PLC, or Public Limited Company, basically an overseeing force that owns several subsidiaries. Their American game publishing branch was Infogrames Inc. Then Infogrames SA purchased the Atari branding from Hasbro Interactive in 2003. Then their American publishing branch was then...
The title of the clip is Man Admits He Is Wrong. Experts say this can't technically happen, but evidence shows it is rare. I literally admit I'm wrong constantly. I mean, it was founded by Grover Cleveland, but they typoed it and it's stuck as Cleveland. Wait, no, Grover Cleveland doesn't spell it that way. No, Grover Cleveland doesn't spell it that way. The fuck? What fake information are you fucking putting in here, Ari? Yes, it was named after Grover Cleveland. Also, I knew that spelling because Grover Cleveland was literally the person that sent the military after like labor unions and shit, and created I think Grover Cleveland created Labor Day because he fucked up and sent the police and military after labor unions. So he needed a labor victory. That's in my video, chat. Go watch my video. Also, it wasn't Grover Cleveland. What the fuck? My social studies teacher lied to me? No. You're telling me that social studies teachers lie to you about history?
Renamed to Atari Inc. And that's only the necessary information. The labyrinth of subsidiary names is disastrous. Either way, once the rebrand happened, Humongous Entertainment was then commissioned for 2 new junior adventure games. Pajama Sam 4, Life is Rough When You Lose Your Stuff, and Putt-Putt 7, Pep's Birthday Surprise. I was saving this until this chunk because I almost feel like these games are such tragic departures.
Do you know who Chester Arthur is? Because I didn't before trivia last week. Chester B. Arthur? Isn't he your president? Chester A. Arthur? Oh, yeah. He was the president before Grover Cleveland. Dude, this guy fucks. Chester A. Arthur fucks. I have never seen anybody that fucks more than Chester A. Arthur. Look at this dude. Dude, he fucks. No, he doesn't. Those mutton chops. He fucks hard. My social studies teacher told me that communism works great on paper, but always ends in dictatorship. Our education system is totally not meant to indoctrinate, right? Yeah. That's why I created my fucking YouTube channel. To talk about history we're not taught. And dispel the fucking whitewashing. Ghost is sexually attracted to Chester Arthur. Sure. Figures it was a social studies teacher. I'm surprised there's still I'm an SS teacher. I'm still surprised an organization after 1945. God damn it, Otto.
From their
Otto's on one.
Be discussed in the same sentence. First of all, both these games have a really outdated copy protection that means you need the disc in order for it to play.
Yep.
However, these games have been getting sold digitally for years at this point.
Yep.
So there's no actual way to play with the disc. In fact,
Except I figured it out. You had to create a .iso of the exe file and then mount it.
In fact, I haven't even owned a disk drive since like 2015. However, thanks to the magic of drive emulators, you can trick the games into running. Pep's Birthday Surprise is probably the better of the two. The entire game is based around the fact that Pep's depressed because he's never had a birthday party, and so Putt-Putt decides to celebrate his gotcha day as his actual birthday, which just so happens to be the next day. How convenient. So basically, this entire series took place in the space of a year. This guy attracts adventure like Gwyneth Paltrow attracts lawsuits. Puzzle-wise, this game is pretty much on the same level as the other games, just with the added dimension of having to constantly distract Pep so he doesn't know that he's getting a surprise party, which really just adds an extra button to press between doing things that you want to do, which gets especially annoying in sequences where you need to talk to the same character several times. And it leads to this funny scenario where Pep is basically a live-in servant fetching you 6 different cups of hot cocoa. And the repeated animations do get a bit annoying as well, but that's because they switched to the skip animation button. It used to be escape, now it's enter. I didn't know that until I had already finished the game. So there's nothing inherently wrong with the puzzles themselves, it's just the presentation really suffers. You can tell that this was a game that was given an extremely small budget. There's a lot of areas that appear to be outright recycled from the previous games. The voice acting is much more amateurish to the point where I'm half convinced they just got friends of people from the studio to voice characters.
This is the special bag Mrs. Widget gave me to store all of the items I need for Pep's party.
The animation is fairly minimal when they can get away with it, the backgrounds are less reactive, and it just doesn't have the same creativity or life that the previous games had. Honestly, in a lot of ways that are kind of hard to pin down. It comes across to me as though without the main driving force.
Why surprised you thought the denazification process actually worked? Yeah, the denazification was literally just throw them at Latin America and eviscerate every kind of leftist government.
Forces behind these games, it feels like it's almost a parody of an established work rather than an authentic piece of work. And while Shelley Day and Ron Gilbert were important to the development of a lot of these games, it's obvious that among the people who left, as well as the people who were laid off, there were a lot of press between doing things that you want to do, which gets especially annoying in sequences important figures there that were no longer with the company, whose presence
Is watch broken? No. Emily just misspelled it.
you wouldn't even notice when they were there, but were responsible for a lot of little bits and pieces that made the games what they were. And with that in mind, Pajama Sam 4, life is rough when you lose your stuff.
It only works if you type it,
Easily
yeah.
my least favorite game out of all the junior adventure games.
Yep. We all said this game sucked. We all said this game was fucking awful.
It's just so painfully mediocre. It has all the issues that Putt-Putt 7 had, except maybe even worse. Plus, it has plenty of flaws in its own right. First of all is the wishy-washy theming, which is ironic because there's a washing machine in the game, to the point where I'm not even sure what this game is attempting to convey. Possibly that being clean is good, but let's back up. Pajama Man is coming to a local mall, and Sam wants to have his vintage Pajama Man 1 autographed. It's going to suck when he grows up and realizes it's just some guy in a suit. But when he tries to retrieve his comic, he ends up in the land of messiness, and the whole thing is decidedly low energy and lacking in creativity, like how the entire climax of the story is about getting into some mall, so you have to go around collecting the necessary clothing items.
Watch doesn't work. Someone type it, I'm not allowed. I mean, you're allowed.
That way the guard will let you in. There is some misplaced effort, like a really weirdly elaborate but guard will let you in. All energy and lacking placed effort, like a really weird items. That way the guard will let you in. There is some misplaced effort, like a really weirdly elaborate but somehow low-budget musical number that goes on for way too long.
Free from dirt and filth and food debris. But what good is a spotless heart when we're a pair?
The imagery is muddled and not visually appealing, and I don't know, something feels distinctly wrong about this. Like the whole experience feels off, much like Putt-Putt 7 felt off.
Oops.
Except it feels worse here. It feels like
It's so bad.
That has worse presentation in pretty much every way.
It's so bad, chat.
And unfortunately, that would be the final stain that would be etched into this one.
I'm getting water and putting my plate away. I'll be right back.
Continuing to be made after this, the company was not long for the world. Things once again get a bit complicated. Back when I was doing casual research into Humongous Entertainment back in 2020, I remember reading that Atari sold Humongous back to Infogrames, and there was an agreement that the games that were in development would continue to be worked on until at least March 31st, 2006. Earlier revisions of the Wikipedia article do confirm that this was indeed something that was stated, however the facts have been reshuffled. Now it states that Atari merely retained the publishing rights through until the end of March 2006, and it was later extended. It just shows me that even in death, the behind-the-scenes aspects of this company couldn't stop being a complete mess. As even in death, nobody can quite agree on when the company officially closed down. At least at time of writing, the agreed upon date is August 22nd, 2006, which would coincide with Atari selling the company back to Infogrames, which then resulted in all staff being laid off, which I guess is as good of a time as any to declare time of death. But why would they purchase all their assets back if they were just going to close down the company? Well, aside from being generally incompetent, Infogrames then took the assets and established Humongous Inc., another holding company which would then continue to make the Backyard Sports titles, which, believe it or not, kept going until 2010.
Wait, what? That was Backyard Sports? That's crazy.
If I'm not mistaken, the last official game made by the company proper was Backyard Skateboarding featuring Andy McDonald, which initially released about a month after the staff were laid off, and that is a bomb-ass game to go out on if it is their last game. Despite being short, easy, and lacking controller support, it is a smooth and authentic Tony Hawk style game that I thoroughly enjoy. If you want my more in-depth thoughts on it, you can watch my video on the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater knockoff collection. So yeah.
Okay. Can we talk about how cool this person's research was for this video?
As far as I'm aware, that is an accurate retelling of the demise of Humongous Entertainment based on what we currently know. But the story does kind of have a happy ending in a cosmic sort of way. Basically what happened was, in 2008, Infogrames was able to finally fully purchase the Atari branding outright, and so they rebranded the entire company from Infogrames SA to Atari SA. Unfortunately, those years of mismanagement and executive ineptitude finally caught up to them. You see, they were losing money hand over fist for roughly a decade by this point. But then in 2013, the entity formerly known as Infogrames officially declared bankruptcy. From that, over 100 different intellectual properties were then sold to a company called Tomo Inc. And while they never released any new games in any of these franchises, they were the ones who eventually made these games available for purchase on Steam, Good Old Games, and various consoles. So thankfully, we did get a company that cares enough to still archive these classic games to those who are nostalgic enough to indulge. Perhaps even showing their own kids the games that they grew up with. But with that said, these games and the company that made them more or less only exist as nostalgic beacons of a past age at this point, because Humongous Entertainment is a company that doesn't really exist anymore. Simply the assets belong to a different host. No developers are actually working for Humongous Entertainment. There's no chance of a comeback. Which is a tragic fate, but with that said, I don't think for a second that Humongous Entertainment was really gonna last even without the unfortunate circumstances surrounding its death. Because it kind of existed in a niche that doesn't really exist anymore. You see, it's reasonable to assume to a certain extent that if the company was still making money, it wouldn't have been shut down. And it would make
Unreal Engine 5 putt-putt. Holy shit, that would be amazing. Did I mention that one of my dates recently had a swastika on her jacket? Was it a Dead Kennedys? Was it a Dead Kennedys logo?
perfect sense why the games they were making weren't selling the same amount that they used to, and the data backs it up. What it comes down to is that their primary audience grew up. You see, when you had the perfect trinity of wholesome entertainment, the mainstreamification of family PCs, and games that could be run on even the most modestly powerful PCs, you had something that was perfect for kids growing up in the early to mid-90s. But unfortunately, those kids grew up, and in some cases, you have styles of entertainment that are essentially evergreen. Despite the fact that there will always be different shows being made, for example, watching cartoons has appealed to multiple generations one after another. So you'll always have an equal replacement rate, so the people growing out of it will be replaced by the people growing into it, if you see what I mean. But because the popularity of Humongous Entertainment came at such a specific time for such specific reasons, it doesn't take that much.
Yeah, red mark going through it. It was a very punk girl. Yeah, it's the Dead Kennedys logo. Yeah. This is Dead Kennedys logo. Nazi punks, fuck off. Nazi punks, fuck off. Or maybe she wanted a jacket with sauerkraut on it, but misspelled it on her Amazon search.
Much time for the entertainment.
I did not see that company. I did.
Move on, leaving that niche behind. By the time the early 2000s hit and the company started to die off, you had things like the rise of Web 2.0 and the rise of Flash gaming. You had the rise of online
Flash gaming was the best.
Like Halo leading the charge. The entire industry was starting to shift in a more action-focused and adult-focused direction. I bring up this example a lot because it perfectly showcases what I mean. Jason Rubin on livestream talking about how by 2002 the entire industry changed overnight so that kids wanted more mature games because mature games were seen as the cool and in thing to play.
This Grand Theft Auto 3 thing came out and utterly changed the expectations of the gaming community.
RIP point and clicks.
Like literally overnight everything changed. We had already started working on Jak 2 and I remember doing a focus group and two 8-year-olds were in this focus group. And I was like, so what do you think? And they acted like 16-year-olds, like 8-year-olds. Well, the graphics are good, and we really like the gameplay. We like what you're doing and the expansion of the universe. Really, this would be a fantastic game for our little brothers. And you're like, you're 8.
And as confirmed by various sources, the same applied for...
Also, Jak 2, absolutely incredible game. That was the Jak and Daxter series, was the first games that I played on stream. I did not have a camera, and I basically didn't have any viewers.
For the rapidly shrinking niche that Humongous Entertainment was selling by the early 2000s. Plus, even the most modestly powerful PCs at that point could handle things way more demanding than what they could do 10 years prior, to the point where simple point-and-click adventure games were considered ancient technology. And the way I see it, there was no way for Humongous Entertainment to adapt to that changing landscape. Their games were far too kiddie and far too entrenched in the point-and-click adventure genre to ever be properly separated from the genre. What were they gonna do? A game about a grown-up Freddy Fish as a police detective? A Hitman-style adventure game starring Spy Fox? A superhero sandbox game starring Pajama Sam? I'm sure some people are probably listening to me saying this and thinking, hell yeah, I love that idea. No, you wouldn't, is the thing. And I always go back to this example. These sort of ironic subversions work in a micro sense, like if you made a 2-minute YouTube parody, but as an official release, it would be nothing short of laughable. The only reason one could say it would be awesome is because we have the luxury of not being in a universe where they exist. And if they actually did exist, the tune of these people would be very different. Like, are we not all in agreement that Bomberman Act Zero was
Grand Theft Spy Fox? True. That'd be cool.
Misfire? That's only one example. There was an entire decade where companies tried to update traditionally lighthearted IP into dark, gritty BS to mixed success. Humongous Entertainment essentially built into a fad that ceased to exist once their own audience grew out of their products, and the audience that may have hypothetically replaced their original audience were interested in much different things. They were no longer needed, and the company faded away accordingly. These days, we live in a much more homogenous entertainment landscape, where the line between things that children can enjoy and the things that adults can enjoy is somewhat blurred. Plus, there's so much media being thrown at us at any given time.
Comrade Fox, Spy Fox flips to the KGB. What do you... Spy Fox is already woke. Spy Fox is already a comrade.
That things of all varieties exist. And with the rise of ironic internet culture, things that were previously never particularly popular have found their niches. Basically, anything can theoretically exist and be successful even beyond their specific fads in the past. And it's in that particular landscape that the games were re-released. Granted, they're way overpriced, but that's besides the point.
They are very
We'll
overpriced.
continue to get re-releases of these games until the end of time, which, at the rate things are going, will probably be next week. But we'll probably never get new installments. And you know what? I'm not too hung up on it.
Wait, when was this video put out? Oh my god, this video was put out 4 months ago.
Either way. Why? Because they had a good run. It goes back to my point about how good things don't need to go on forever for us to enjoy.
Badge for me, no stream for a couple days. Otto, just stick around real quick. Just stick around real quick. I just want to get your thoughts on this. I want to react to this real quick. I will be streaming tomorrow though. They're probably going in there to prevent crime. England can be a real country. Dude, my lighting is so bad. That's England can be a real country. Why can't Chicagoland? That's fair. That is a fair question, but I'm not aware that Chicagoland is a real country. Also, I remember in like high school and middle school, people saying that, God, this game is fucking dark on if you declare your own yard an independent country, this was funny, then you can attack your neighbors and stuff. But how can something end in land? Cozy stream. Look, Cleveland isn't a country. Boom! Got him! Fucking boom! Chat, that was 40 fucking seconds. 40 seconds. 40 seconds. I dismantled Otto's argument in 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Oh, you had so many followers. This stream was literally S-Cow, Kiko, and then Otto came in. Hey, there was stuff before that and after that? I don't think there was. Oh. Oh, man. 40 seconds. Otto, S-Cow, and I were scheming. We've been wanting to do this for a while. We've been scheming on Discord for the last 10 minutes because we saw that you were active in this. I remember you failed the train bridge thing like 40 times. Yes, I did. But someone redeemed something. Someone redeemed marbles on stream. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. Laugh my fucking ass off. Amazing. Oh, God. You suck. You suck, Emily. Why do you guys make me stand up? I'm tired. 40 seconds. I dismantled his argument in 40 seconds. No, not ticklish puppy. We couldn't tell you were scheming at all. No, not at all. Hey, I get you to sit down. Yes, you do, Plank, because you're a true friend. Plank is a true friend. Plank gets me to sit down. I need the VOD. I feel like you're missing some of my great arguments here. Ghosty, wait 1 second. What am I waiting for? Auto, January 25th, 2024. Auto, 1 hour, 40 minutes, and 6 seconds. I scrubbed it. I scrubbed it, Auto, looking for it. S-Cow and I scrubbed it. We're pretty sure that was your first message. All right, I gotta launch a game. Ari was gonna have me sit down. That's why she told me to wait a second, but there's a 30-minute cooldown. Fuck you, Becca. Boom! Thank you, Ari. I know for a fact it was because I played from 130 to 140 to make sure. Yes. We both did it. We both did, Auto. What the fuck? We need 5 more follows. Go quick. Message one friend right now. Quick. Wait, 5 more follows for what? For my goal? My goal's fake. My goal's fake. It literally just auto renews. Oh, Auto, thank you for the follow. Anyway, chat, for those that have not been here for Marbles on Stream and the Ned Ghost Rider broadcast, we do 3 aces, 4 bets. 3 aces, 4 bets. If you pay attention, the 4th bet's super, super easy. All right, chat. First bet, exclamation point play if you'd like to join. What the fuck course is this? Well, that's my bet. Is the winner sub, chat? Is the winner sub or are they a nerd and they see ads? It's always Becca. Yes, it is always Becca. 139.43. Chat, get your bets in. Oh, you ask, is Chicagoland a full real country? Okay. That doesn't make it better, Auto. That doesn't make it better. So I dismantled your argument in a minute and 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I'm incapable of being mean to Becca. I love you. I cannot believe I caught strays for making you stand. Well, you're making me miserable, and my viewers don't like me being miserable. Is Chicagoland a real country? Chicagoland a real country? I don't believe so. I'm so confused by the intentions. The Mexican military is probably going after the cartels. Because American tourists are probably an important income for... Liar, I can never make you miserable. False. False. To prevent crime. Chat, your bets are in? A real country, why can't Chicagoland? Yeah, that's it. Fair. That's it. That's it. I dismantled your argument in less than 40 seconds. That is a fair question. So you sent one message before this, and that's what you were butthurt about, Auto? But I'm not aware that Chicagoland is like that. So you make the argument. If you declare your own yard stuff a country. Okay. So you make the argument at 140.40. You make the argument at 140.40 and I dismantle your argument in 5 seconds, Otto.
Be a country. And stuff.
Okay.
Can something end in land and not be a country?
At 1:40:39, you make the argument something ending in land and not being a country. At 1:40:45, I bring up Cleveland. It took me 5 seconds to completely dismantle your entire argument.
Well, Cleveland isn't a country.
It was less than 5 seconds. It was 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Otto, I don't know why you wanted me to go back to that. Anyway, chat, the bets are in. The bets are in. Last chance to get on. Last chance to get in. Exclamation point play. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Exclamation point play. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Going once. Going twice. Sold. That was the most actually recap possible. Yeah. Except like it wasn't even a good actually. It just wasted 5 minutes. It made it even worse because I said it was 45 seconds. I said it was 40 seconds, but it was actually 3 seconds. It was 3 seconds. I dismantled his entire argument in 3 seconds. Otto calls me a god gamer. Just call me a god debater. Someone called me a masturbator. Anyway, Ari Boops is in the lead. Emily and Becca in second and third. Ghost trying to catch up in the straw hat. Masturbator. Emily takes the lead. Ari in second. Ghost bypasses Becca in third. Emily takes the lead on the first lap, but Ghost is coming up fast. Ghost takes a turn high. Is Ghost going to get a boost taking the turn that high? Nope. Ghost slows down. Emily continues to take the lead. Becca's in second. Ghost is in third. Nomar's in fourth. Ghost takes the lead over Emily. Also, a Herm land in Australia, by the way. Arnhem land. Oh, my bad. Emily, Ghost, and Becca are battling out for first place. Who's it going to be, chat? Who's the winner going to be? It's going to come down to the wire. And Emily is pulling away. Emily's your winner. Ned Ghost Rider. Ned Ghost Rider's in second. Becca's in third. Oz has a pink lake. Sorry, oops, caps. Ari, why do you keep doing caps? In Newfoundland, Canada? Yeah. Plank. I know. I did proof by contradiction, which is I only have to say one. You only need one because I'm pressing tab and it's right below caps. Oh, okay. Anyway, Emily's your winner. Emily, are you subbed? Emily has been subscribed for 6 months. Emily is subbed. Wow, y'all didn't make any bets? What the fuck? That's weird. All right, winner was subbed. Emily gets 13 points. Ghost gets 12 points. Becca gets 11 points. The rest of y'all get 0. You can't just ask if people are a sub. Yes, I can. That's consent. Also, that's literally what the bet was. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Exclamation point play. Yeah, my mild autism will go for hours now thinking of places ending in land that aren't countries. I'm sorry, Plank. Plank, it is a fun watch if you want to watch that VOD. Because it was literally me, Kiko, and Escow, and then Otto came in out of nowhere. And just, that was the birth of this chatter that was Otto. All right, chat. Does everybody finish? Does everybody finish? Yes or no? Yes or no? $45 seconds. 45 seconds, chat. Exclamation point play if you'd like to join the race. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'm gonna get gum. I'll be right back. Also, chat, you destroyed Jake Jardashian's... You destroyed Jake Jardashian's dream because he was going to come into the chat after his stream and he was going to redeem marbles. Anyway, bets are in. Bets are in. Last chance. Exclamation point play. Exclamation point play going once. Exclamation point play going twice. Down we go. Who's going to be in first? Y'all don't make any bets anymore with your channel points, huh? No more takes the lead. No more popping through the gate. Ghost gets a boost from the gate. So does Ori Boobs. Ori Boobs takes the lead. Emily gets hung up in the gates. Plank and No More battling for second place. Ori Boobs gets pegged hard. Dumb Plank takes the lead. Dumb Plank takes the lead. No More in second. Ori Boobs in third. Dumb Plank continues to bypass everything. Dumb Plank is avoiding the pegging. Wait. Do we just keep going in circles? Wait. Wait, we just keep going in circles? What? We just keep going in circles? What? We just keep going in circles? Wait, I don't know who's in the lead. I'm so confused. I'm pretty sure Plank's still in the lead. Ori Boobs and No Mars in second and third. Oh, it's counting down? What's going to happen? Plank is catching up to Emily and about to lap Emily. What the fuck course is this? Oh my God. No More's gonna win because the track changed? Plank completely got fucked over? Holy shit. Unbelievable. Ori Boobs is your winner. Oh my God. Plank literally had the lead the whole time and the track changed. Holy shit. Congratulations, Ari. Ghost in second, Becca in third.
Otto in third place? Oh my God.
I meant to yell.
Ladies finish first, always. Always. Ladies always finish first in this stream. Ladies always finish first. That's the motto in this stream. Ladies always finish first. Hopefully they finish multiple times.
True.
But that's the motto in this stream. Ladies finish first.
Ari gets 14 points. Ghost gets 11 points. Becca gets 9 points. Nomar gets 0. Emily gets 0. And Plank gets 0. On to the final race, chat. On to the final race. Everybody finished, I'm pretty sure. On to the most difficult bet. Who wins the race? Who wins the race, chat? Who wins the race? Exclamation point play if you'd like to join. Exclamation point play. Who's it going to be, chat? Who's the winner going to be? Get your bets in. Get them in. Get them in. I can't believe we looked it up and it was actually 5 seconds. It took me 5 seconds to dismantle Otto's argument. Oh, yeah. 10 seconds. 10 seconds to get your bets in. 10 seconds to get your bets in. Last call to get into the race. Exclamation point play. If you'd like to join, exclamation point play. Exclamation point play. If you would like to join the race. Going twice. Last chance. And that's it. We're going to start the race. Debate pervert. I didn't even debate him. I am very good at debating people, though. Like, I'm pretty sure you watched my YouTube video of me completely shitting on a alleged Israeli chatter. And I'm sure you enjoyed it. Oh my God, Ori Boobs hits the hole first. Emily hits it second. Emily getting the sloppy seconds, but Emily takes the lead. Oh, Emily dropped on down to the second layer. Ori Boobs could take advantage of this, but Ori Boobs drops down to the second layer as well. Yeah, I saw that one. Oh, there's an extra marble in there. Oh, Emily are battling for the hole first again. And Emily's in the hole first. Ari's in it at the same time. Ghost Rider coming out of nowhere. Oh my God, Ghost Rider's gonna be your winner. Oh, Ghost Rider's off the board, so is Blake. Emily's your winner. Ari Boobs in second, and No More is in third. I forgot to play. Wow, way to go, Becca. I only literally announced 3 times. Last call. I only announced last call 3 times, like I always do. Anyway, Emily gets 6 points. Ori Boobs gets 5 points. Nomar gets 0. Plank gets 0. And Ghost Rider gets 0 as well, chat. Who is going to win the Grand Prix now? Who's it going to be? Who's going to win the Grand Prix? Get your bets in. This should be easy if you paid attention. Get your bets in. 1 minute. 1 minute to get your bets in. 1 minute. Also, I'm gonna wake up early tomorrow and go food shopping. So I'm gonna have a busy week at work. Keko, thank you for redeeming your participation trophy. Keko, thank you for redeeming hydrate. Ugh. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Get your bets in. Get them in, get them in, get them in. Speaking of hydrate.
Tell them to take. The safe route. Take the safe route. Okay, now bomb the safe route. Bombing safe route. Tell them to go to the refugee center. Attention Palestinians, go to the refugee center. Now bomb the refugee center. Bombing refugee center. Oh, what? Looks like some of them are getting into ambulances. Bomb the ambulances. Copy. They're on their way to the hospital. Bomb the hospital. Bombing the hospital. Okay, now tell them there's an escape route south to Egypt. Attention Palestinians, head south to Egypt. Okay, now bomb the escape route. Figured that. And again. Already on it. And again. What are we gonna tell the press? Beheaded babies.
Yep. Yep. All right, chat. The bets are in. Where did everybody finish? No one voted. Speaking of hydrate and Pride Month. Third place, Emily. Second place, Becca Soar. First place, Ned Ghost Rider is your winner. Congratulations to Ned Ghost Rider. Thanks so much for participating in today's iteration of Marbles on Stream. Ghost Rider with 23 points, Becca with 20, Emily with 19, Ori with 19, Plank with 0, and Nomar with 0 as well. Thank you for participating in tonight's iteration of Net Ghost Riders Marbles on stream. I hope you all enjoyed
I'm
it.
not gay,
per
but
usual.
I'm gonna go get some water. But I'm not gay.
What is that? What does drinking water have anything to do with gay?
I
think
listen,
he's gay.
I'm not gay. I swear. I swear.
That was such an unhinged stream. That was such an unhinged stream. We need to play that game again. Anyway, let's finish this react. Let's finish this react. I probably would have won if I joined the last race. Probably, Becca, but you didn't. Just saying. Just saying. All right. I was distracted, sorry. What were you distracted by this? Is this what you were distracted by?
Enjoy it. Just with their core junior adventure franchises, they made no less than 20 games. 26 if you count Blue's Clues. There's
Goddamn.
plenty to go around, so why lament what you don't have when you can just enjoy what you do have? But I also will acquiesce to the fact that I'm not part of the target audience, obviously, and that's kind of what makes me more comfortable in saying that I'm okay with these things being archived, but not necessarily continued. You see, I do enjoy these games in a sense. I find them very charming, but as I said earlier, you're kind of grading them
These
on
games
a
were
curve
dope.
because I'll never get as much enjoyment out of these games as I would with most other games regardless
Tell your girlfriend that you were busy watching Neg. Exactly, Emily.
of what the specific target audience is. They are good for what
Or sorry, exactly, Becca. Listen to Emily.
they are, but for what they are is the operative phrase there. It's important to keep things in perspective, if you ask me. It is kind of unfortunate, though, looking back on the life and death of Humongous Entertainment, because things like this just remind me that the world I grew up in is long dead. It's easy to re-experience the things we grew up with and get lost in the memories, but once it's all said and done, it's all dust in the wind. Sometimes I'll drive around on my way to the gym or whatever, and I'll pass by an old spot I used to hang out in, and it's almost inevitably completely different from how it used to be 5, 10, or 15 years ago. And that stark difference...
I don't know. I'm not going to lie. Playing these games that I played as a kid was fucking awesome. It was really fun. I had a really fun time playing the games. And like playing it with you all and like making jokes about it with you all, I thought made it even better. But that's just my personal opinion. I would like to think you guys enjoyed it because you guys were in here.
Is only going to become more noticeable as time goes on, and the same applies for the people younger than me. Time goes on, things change, and all those things that defined your life for so long, dust in the wind. And this company, these games, no different. And that's all I've got. If you like this video and want to support the channel, you can like this video, leave a comment telling me what you think, subscribe, and hit
Chat,
the
give this video a
notification
thumbs
icon
up.
So you're always up to date on what I'm doing. And
Chat,
I'm
give
happy
this
to announce
video a
that I'm
thumbs up.
relaunching my Patreon in February, so if you want to
Give him a
jump on that, you
subscription.
can pledge anytime. Also, thank you to user Shadowstreak. His video on Humongous helped to fill in a few of the gaps of my knowledge that helped make the video. Go check out his video on Humongous as well. It's a...
No, it sucked, JK. No, I had fun. Good. I'm glad you had fun, Ari. I wish I had a girlfriend. Me too. Well, I got Chat's mom coming over later.
Comprehensive than mine. I've been the King of Snark Style right here on Tactical Bacon Productions, and I will see you next time. Stay crispy, my friends.
What else? What other videos have they done here? This is some good shit. The Last of Us Season 2 is a total flop. Oh, no. I don't know if I want to watch that. The worst character in Grand Theft Auto history. Last of Us TV show is peak fiction. Wait. How are you saying it's peak fiction, but then The Last of Us Season 2 is a total flop? Wait, what the fuck? That was 3 months ago. I'm so confused. Dude, these are some long-ass fucking videos. How do they have time to edit all these videos and get them all out? I liked it so much better in Satisfactory. That was a lot. one of those games I feel like I could play more than watch. Yeah, no, I know that, but I was so locked in on Satisfactory and I wanted to finish it. So I was just like grinding so hard to finish it. I'm glad I got away from Satisfactory because I don't like streaming grindy games like that on stream unless like there's chatters in here and we're talking about other shit. But so I wanted to watch, we went to North Korea to get a haircut. But I took the whole stream reacting to that Humongous video. So that's going to be it for me tonight. I am tired. I have been up. I need to ice my shoulder. I need to do laundry. But I'm gonna wrap things up here. I need to send you somewhere. Me too. I'll keep you all posted on a second date status. You're at a better advantage than me. I'm not even going on dates. That's true. That's true. But anyway, I need to send you somewhere. Oh, thank you, Emily. First raid mess. Oh shit. The person I was gonna raid is raiding out. So first messages are those that are not subbed. Next two messages are those that are subbed. I'm sending you to Jake. I'm sending y'all to Jake. Oh, actually. Wait. No, we're gonna raid somebody new. We're gonna raid Celtic Thickness? I don't even know how to pronounce it properly. Or do you guys want to go to Jake? Game Month Rider. Oh, God. Cell Thickness? Cell Thickness? Jacob Rube. Amin Rick Seagoat. Indy or Etane. Kel? Okay. I haven't had a chance to raid Kel, so I'm just hell yeah, I love thick ginger just yelling at me. All right. We're gonna raid Celticness. Celticness. All I heard is Celtic thickness. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. It was a pleasure. As I stated, we will be streaming tomorrow. Unlikely streaming Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday is my birthday. I was thinking about doing as soon as I got done with work, just hopping on stream. So that's my thoughts for the week. Hopefully we'll see you here tomorrow. Maybe we'll do more React content, but thank you so much for being here. Absolute blast. Thank you, Ghosty. Love you. Thank you, Ari. Aussie, fuck you. Thank you, guys. I hope you all have a good one. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good night. See y'all later. Free Palestine. Oh, also on my drive back from baseball, there was someone holding up a Free Palestine sign, and I opened my window, gave him a solidarity fist, and screamed Free Palestine. So, yeah. Anyway, see y'all later. Free Palestine.